Love. What is it good for? Today, we will be examining this and many other questions on our anime podcast.
Tristan.
I'm Miles.
I'm Geoff.
And this is Quest for the Best, which I always feel like we should be saying together, but that doesn't work because we're in 3 continents.
Please don't. Future me trying to sync that would not appreciate it.
Editor Tristan just like measuring the noose in his mind.
We're an anime podcast. We are on a mission from God. Actually, not really. But
mission from God.
A mission from Haruhi.
As much as the Blues Brothers are, to find the greatest anime of all time, today on our quest is Mother's Basement, a.k.a. professional shitbag Geoff Thew, basement guy.
Man,
is his choice.
Person.
And he wants to talk about
Control.com/Mother's Basement.
Kaguya-sama, Love is War, Love is War, Love is War. I say it 3 times because there's 3 seasons that we had to watch.
I think it's my number 3 favorite anime of all time, maybe, or...
No, it was further down than that.
No, it's number 4.
4, okay, you're right.
Was it number 4?
Mr. Data Man.
I have it in front of me. It's
yeah.
This is no magic recall, but yeah.
I think it's the greatest love story in anime. But before we could talk about
big words,
we got to answer our question of the week. Evan Drake, who asked us our favorite educational anime, that sort of thing, our favorite educational anime.
In the question, one of my favorites is definitely there, which is Cells at Work. Cells at Work is a phenomenal show.
Yeah, I just didn't want to read that because I was going to say Cells at Work.
And Cells at Work Black.
Yeah.
Also worth watching.
No, I'd say Black is better. Cells at Work.
Better in what way? Better as an edutainment or better as entertainment?
I mean, they're both very good edutainment, but Cells at Work Black is funnier. And
one of the main characters is big tits. Yeah,
that too. But I mean, the main thing that I really appreciate
helps
about
with recall.
The main thing I appreciate about Cells at Work
delayed
Black,
reaction there.
It's like simultaneously educational about the body and black companies and that whole part of corporate culture. Which just makes for a really good metaphor for a body breaking down. As a lefty social commentary guy, the using a sick body as a metaphor for a black company and vice versa, and, corporate exploitation is a very, very good metaphor that works better and better the more you think about it.
That Osmosis Jones did very well as well.
Take that, Bill Murray.
Yes.
Well, no, that's the thing. Like, Osmosis Jones has a lot of interesting commentary as well. Not the kid show, but like the movie.
The kid show's like the only message I remember from the kid show is like the don't smoke episode.
The only message I remember from the show is, what's on the other channel right now?
Yeah.
Because we had like 4 that we used to swap between when I was growing up.
Teletoon, YTV, Family.
Teletoon, Carmen, YTV. There was a French one that had like Caillou and Pengu and things that it's fine.
You don't want to watch that.
I do if there's nothing. I would rather watch Pengu than Osmosis Jones any day of the week.
I'd rather watch Pengu than a lot of things. Pengu is perfect television, but Caillou is like something Canada still needs to apologize for. I think top 5 war crimes we've ever committed.
But it's slightly made up by sticking around.
Oh, sticking around is I should go change into my sticking around shirt.
Sticking around and reboot.
And reboot. God tier television. No complaints there.
I think about that egg from Osmosis Jones all the time. Like I'll just be sitting minding my own business, and then Bill Murray eating that egg comes up, and I'm like, man. And people on TikTok complain about like 1,000-year eggs, which are delicious. But then I just think of that. That's the only egg I've ever seen not look appetizing.
It's like Osmosis Jones is actually a really good movie. Just generally, I think like not the top tier of animated movies from our childhood, but definitely like B tier.
I mean, it's behind like The Toaster Goes to Space, so like don't really. It's fine.
Maybe C tier, but as entries to the Cells at Work cinematic universe goes,
sure,
not bad.
Not bad at all.
I think like the obvious answer to me is Dr. Stone.
Yeah. Okay, I didn't even think about that one.
Yeah, because I mean, like Dr. Stone is so good at it that you don't even think of it as edutainment. But it's so educational about scientific principles, the scientific method, and just like interesting facts about how the world works.
I think I've talked about it on the podcast before. Like the last cool thing I did at Crunchyroll was like help produce a little interview we did with Carrie Bryant about that show, one of the Mythbusters. And she was reacting to Dr. Stone like, wow, that's a cool way of doing that. And I'm like, yeah, it is. Dr. Stone's sick as hell. It's so cool.
Mythbuster approved.
Well, for copyright reasons, it's not. But yes.
Well, yes.
Myth examiner and debunker from a popular TV show related to such things approved.
Indeed.
Turn that into an acronym.
I'm sure somebody in the comments will like actually come up with
good to them. Gold star. If I see it, I'll give it a heart.
Yeah, you get points. If you I mean it's just
the points don't matter.
Like it's not that hard. You just gotta like remember all of the words that I just said, which I don't already. I'm past that. But
thankfully, they can just like hit the arrow button and back up a bit.
Yeah,
they're
exactly.
watching longitude views.
That's what people on YouTube do. So, but yeah, Dr. Stone, like phenomenal piece of edutainment.
It's not my favorite because my favorite is Camp, teaching you how to camp.
I guess that kind of counts as like it's a how-to. The question did include how-tos. So, that and do it yourself could be included.
Not do it yourself, no.
Not do it yourself, yeah.
Let's be real. Do it yourself is fantastic, but like you're not learning anything in that show. With Laid Back Camp, I think one of the best things it does is just kind of make an argument for solo camping and for winter camping, two things that I really enjoy both sides of. It wasn't like a how-to for me because I like have done camping things my whole life, but it was really nice to see like, it's that whole Waterworld thing of like, ooh, things are happening. I really like watching the girls set up tents and shit. It's great.
All the like minutia of the hobby being laid out.
And starting a fire with the little pine cones. Konnichiwa.
Moyashimon is the first thing that comes to mind for me.
Yeah.
Either of you guys see that one?
No.
I don't think so, no.
Brew. It's the one about microbes. So everyone at this point probably has already heard me talking about college too much, but I went to UC Davis in California.
Did you?
Right. It is the number one agriculture and viticulture school in number one ag in the world, number two viticulture and enology in the world, winemaking, right? So we all took like microbiome and like beer making and winemaking classes, or at least me and all my friends did. And so like we made sure during Anime Club to like watch all the UC Davis related things. So we watched like Silver Spoon, we watched Moyashimon, which is about like brewing mostly, but it's about any kind of microbes and like fermentation type things. And then like we watched Yoapeda when that came out because everyone had to bike around because it's such a big campus. So like there's a lot of themed anime you can watch with your anime clubs in school. It's cool to do it that way, guys. If you have a good basketball team, watch Slam Dunk. I don't know.
I feel like Silver Spoon's also pretty educational.
Yeah.
About how farms work and stuff. Like it's not directly trying to be, it's more like, to set the stage. But like I learned a lot about animal husbandry, etc.
So I would say that what really impresses me about Silver Spoon is not what it teaches you, but what it is obviously researched. I mean, Arakawa lived that life.
Yeah, it's less research, more of just for life.
It's more like a pseudo autobiography almost. Yeah.
It's so authentic watching it as someone who's like, studied those things and like lived around that stuff as well, to see a lot of those elements just be represented so authentically and in a way that you will learn about. I love media where you can learn about other people's lives and feel like, it's just a glimpse, but you really deeply understand those people in a way you would not otherwise be able to in a normal conversation with them.
Yeah,
right? This is a cool part of art, I think.
That's one of my favorite like things about anime is just the ones that give you an insight into a world you'd never see otherwise. On that note, I think Shirobako probably qualifies as educational. Sure. About
to a point. I mean, it's educational as long as you assume that it is not like a 1-to-1 because like Miles is giving me a look. It's
no, it's fine. Look, everything's a rosier version of itself on camera. Like, no one watches The Fablemans and is like, I'm going to go direct the movie. Well, actually, I kind of felt that way, but like, you shouldn't.
No.
Or maybe
but
you should.
Like, Shirobako is reasonable for, like, if you haven't done anything like that. Barakamon is good for manga reading. Seiyu's Life is good for voice actor culture to a point. It's a very specific niche of it, but yeah.
I will say...
you mean Bakuman, not Barakamon.
Yeah, sorry.
Barakamon, when you want to paint or do calligraphy.
Yeah. Barakamon is also educational, a little. But I think Shirobako, you know, if you pay attention to the background details, you will learn like a lot about just the process.
Background details.
Yeah, and all the little things that go into making an anime.
I don't think anyone should watch anime without, like, seriously, or like consider themselves a serious anime watcher and not have watched Shirobako. Not because it's one of my favorite and one of Tristan's favorite anime of all time.
I haven't finished it.
But
you will.
And not just because it's great, that it is, but because every time I've talked with someone like on the creative staff or even on the business side of an anime production, ever, and I've talked with them for long enough that I can get away with the question, I ask them, what's your favorite scene in Shirobako? And they always have one. Because that was a love letter for the industry, from the industry, right?
Yeah.
Like, there's a reason why the if you go to the neighborhood where I think there's like 40 or 50 anime studios of like the 200 that are in Tokyo, most of them are in one neighborhood, Musashino. And if you look around at the little grates, it's all Shirobako on the sewer grates. You know, it is something that is celebrated by the people who make, a lot of people who make anime. Even the people who don't like it are like, yeah, it wasn't very good, but I really loved this one scene because it reminded me of this time I was on this project and da-da-da-da-da. And like, that's so fucking cool. That's so cool that like, that is such a shared experience between, literally, I've asked this question way more than is ever appropriate. And like, everyone has an answer for me. I don't know. My other answer to this question about educational anime, I was recently talking with, we brought a new member onto the team at Whitebox pretty recently, and we were talking about linear algebra for like some work we're doing. And I'm like, you know what's shut up. I'm like, do you know what's really helpful for me? Like, linear algebra is not an easy topic. But I'm like, but the manga guide to linear algebra is bomb. It's how I got through, like, how I like grokked the topic for the first. I hate using the word grok now. Fuck you, Elon Musk. Like, that used to be such a good nerd word to use.
And
like,
he stole it and ruined it.
Like so many things.
Grok should have a specific meaning. Or hasn't even read Stranger in a Strange Land, I bet.
No, he had Grok summarize it for him.
If someone clips this to try and get me in trouble, he will literally read it and then put out a press release or like have his PR agents say, "Oh yeah, I love all these classic sci-fi." No, f you, Elon Musk.
No, he'll pay somebody to read it for him the same way he pays people to play Diablo for him.
Grok is used to be such a good word.
Yeah, and now, like, as soon as you said it, because I haven't read Stranger in a Strange Land, I can admit that because I'm not up my own ass and trying to pretend to be the smartest guy on the planet when I'm like actually just kind of a mediocre dumbass who happened to be born with emerald mine money and like had the wherewithal to realize that a bank but online is a pretty good idea.
I mean, that is a pretty good idea.
It is a pretty good idea, but anybody who has like any amount of money and hears, hey, we're trying to make a bank online is going to be like, get me in on that. You know, that's not a sign of genius at all.
But the manga guide, I realized when I was showing the manga guide to regression analysis and linear algebra that the manga guide to databases, I had never read that one. So that arrived today in the mail. And I'm very excited to dig into that.
Yeah, I bet.
Never stop learning. Never stop learning.
I should read more manga guides.
Study.
Life is study.
Life is study. The only one that I'm actually surprised, well, maybe it's because I'm too much of a weirdo to have seen it, which is probably what Geoff would say is the greatest how-to entertainment, which is Ishinoni Training with Hinako, a 1-episode OVA that came out in 2009 about how to exercise, and it is fantabulous.
I actually haven't seen that one, but it's just a cute girl helps you exercise?
More than cute. She is very busty, and that is a selling point for while she exercises. There's also its sequel, Sleeping with Hinako, which is 20 minutes of watching her sleep.
That's got nothing on Pillow Boyfriends. Is that what it's called?
Yeah,
I think so.
No, it's one room, and there's one.
Pillow Boyfriends is where it's magical, like creature dudes. Like there's like a werewolf and stuff, and there's a merman and stuff, and they fall asleep on a pillow next to you, and they're just talking to you for like 5 minutes so you can fall asleep to them.
Man,
that's educational in its own way.
It is.
So I'd call that more productivity anime.
I watched all 12 episodes of it.
Did you, or did you fall asleep in the first few minutes of each of them?
Somehow I did not fall asleep to that.
But you did learn some things about yourself, probably.
No, I already knew all that.
I'm trying to think. Like, there's not that many educational anime, are there?
Oh yeah, there's so many. There are so many, especially if you just think. I mean, there's going to be a new one, y'all. By the way, I know we should move on to the next topic, but I really want to talk about this because this blew my mind.
Is it the one that I told you about?
Did you tell me about this? One of my favorite manga of all time.
Oh no, okay.
Is getting adapted into an anime.
Drops of God?
Drops of God!
Yeah.
We're going to learn about, speaking of winemaking, we're going to learn about winemaking, well, wine drinking. It's really about how to expand your palate and how to appreciate more complex flavors. And it's so good at that because it does that in a battle shonen system.
Okay. Yeah, I have heard good things. I got to check that one out.
So like Food Wars for wine?
It's about tasting, not making.
Yeah, not cooking. So you have to, yeah.
He's decanting from such a height. Ooh,
you know
what? Thinking about it.
You know what? Actually, bringing that up, Yakitate Japan is a phenomenal educational anime in that regard. For like different baking techniques and you know the history of bread and how bread integrates into every world culture. And
it gets pretty deep, honestly.
Yeah. While also just being the funniest parody of a battle shonen in existence.
Yes.
Yeah, Yakitate Japan. I think that might be, if that counts as educational anime, that might be my favorite. Even above Dr. Stone. Just like, it's so good.
Moyashiman, where is that on my list? Because now I get to make you guys watch it, which is very exciting.
And while you're looking that up, we can move into our side quest for the week, which is the final of 3 in our trilogy of side quests, which is my own video game taste test, in that I have 10 of my favorite video games of all time. I am about to be judged, and I don't care if I disagree with people on any of them, because I think all of these are great. And we're going to start it off with probably the weirdest one compared to the others two's list, which is Mario Kart Double Dash.
Solid pick. You know,
out of all of the Mario Karts, Double Dash.
It's the most fun and chaotic, I think.
Yeah. I mean, arguably some parts of the later games, especially now with like Deluxe. Well, I haven't played Mario Kart World, so I can't really speak to that because I don't own a Switch 2. But there is a level of chaotics that I think the other games have upped, if for no other reason than I feel like the mechanics behind item boxes and what you get and where and how that has been spread out has changed drastically since the GameCube era. But like the GameCube era of having a cart with 2 riders in it who can swap at will and they each have their own item storage is fantastic, amazing. How that also balances with like weight and speed and acceleration, because it's like, well, you can have little bitty Toad with gigantic Bowser in the back, and that affects things.
And yeah, you can do the swapping to like get the advantages of the different body types as you drive. Like, yeah, there's skill there. I also I think it's undeniably the most chaotic Mario Kart, though, because every other Mario Kart that's even tried to have baby circuit just doesn't. It's not the same. Or baby park. Yeah, it's not the same, right?
No, it's not.
Like
what a great course.
Yeah, in Double Dash specifically, just all these physics objects flying all over the place.
Well, because that's the thing, is like in Double Dash, you have 2 items that you can hold at any given time. And based on how that game was at the time, a good chunk of like the mid group of the players are mostly going to get like green shells. Yeah. And like if you got 2 full item boxes of triple green shells, one player is now about to throw 6 things on the field, because you can't aim a green shell in Baby Park. You just throw and pray that it doesn't hit you.
And they don't go away is the thing on Baby Park,
everywhere.
Because it's so small, they never have a chance to despawn. Mm-hmm. And there's no edges for them to fall off.
I think they despawn after a certain amount of time, but in Baby Park, they're far more likely to hit someone than despawn.
Yeah. It's like, yeah. And that's what, Double Dash is definitely a good pick.
It's the Mario Kart I've certainly spent the most time with.
Yeah, it is.
Like I've heard, I haven't played World either yet. I've heard really good things about it, but
I'm looking forward to eventually playing it, but that is not today. Mm-hmm. That is not this day. And then after Mario Kart Double Dash, we move into my number 9, which is technically 3 games, but I've combined them because you kind of have to a point, which is the PS2 RPG classic series Xenosaga episodes 1 through 3. Now, I know that technically they are all very different games. If you end up like going to swap meets and you're buying things from like the PS2 era, the ones that you see most often as far as like trilogies or games is like you see Xenosaga 1, 2, 3, and then you see .hack 1, 2, 3, 4, because they're the ones that have been separated. But unlike .hack, which is basically the same game cut into 4 parts, Xenosaga is 3 separate games, just one continuous story, and there are massive changes throughout. If you get really good at game 1, you hop into game 2, and completely different combat mechanics.
All your skills are useless.
Everything's, it's like, it's a completely different game, but the story continues. And so I could do what I will be doing later and pick one of my favorite Xenosagas, but because I kind of played them all roughly at the same time, because when I got into it, all 3 had already been released, and I spent actually, that's a lie. The first time I played through them, it was all on emulator, because getting part 3, game 3 was very difficult because it required something that I did not have at the time, which was called money. And I eventually received the money to own all 3 games. So I will never sell those ever. They will die of laser rot before anybody else gets their grubby little hands on them.
I was actually into the series from like when it came out. So I've got the special pre-order bonus that you got for 2, the DVD that's like a whole movie of 1's cutscenes.
I ended up getting that when I bought my copy of 1, I think.
Which I would say in some ways might be, it's
on the list?
No, but
it is more likely to be on the list than the actual Xenosaga anime, which is not good.
No, it's not. But you can argue that's, but like the movie cut of the cutscenes, you can argue that that's a better way to just get into Xenosaga 2 than because 1 is clunky. Like 1's a good game. I'm not going to say it's not a good game, but like
1 had a lot of growing pains that I kind of wish that they just refined rather than mostly scrapping.
It's got some jank and some grind to it that like.
But that was pretty prevalent in the genre at the time. There's grind in almost any PS2 RPG game.
That's true.
Like even the Final Fantasies, you got to grind.
Yeah.
In some way, shape, or form.
Not in 12.
Not in 12? Yeah, you can grind in 12. Now you can cheat grind by going to that one place and setting up your little, I can't remember what they're called, the thing that tells everybody what to do. You can set that all up, drop your controller, and come back 8 hours later with everybody at max level. But that's grindy. That's totally grindy. You know what else is grindy from the Final Fantasy universe?
You're setting up your next entry?
The critically acclaimed MMORPG Final Fantasy XIV, which has a free trial and includes the entirety of A Realm Reborn and the award-winning Heavensward expansion, Stormblood, and probably even more beyond at this point, because I'm copying a meme text from like 2 or 3 years ago, and more things have been included in that. But you could play up to, at least at that point, level 70 with no restrictions on playtime.
Is that the next entry on your list?
That is the next entry on my list, because I lost, if you want to call it that, I lost roughly 6 years of my life to this game. I never played 1.0. I will not claim to be one of those people that played 1.0, even though I've met several people that do claim that they played 1.0. And then I'm like, hey, show me your character. Can I see their tattoo? Oh, that you don't want to show me their tattoo. You didn't play 1.0. Get the hell out of here. Anyway, so I didn't play 1.0, but I was in the beta for Realm Reborn. I played Realm Reborn all the way through. I played Heavensward all the way through. I was in a static doing Alexander content, which was literally throwing yourself at a brick wall every night for far too long. Played through Stormblood. And then around the end of Stormblood is when I stopped playing the game full time. And then when Shadowbringers came out, I only played the start end of Shadowbringers, never finished any of the extension bonus content, and then I never played Dawn Trail and everything else, and Shadow, and then I never played everything else beyond that. So despite the fact that I haven't played this MMORPG in about 5 or 6 years, it is still here on my list because, again, I lost about 6 years to it. And the great, wonderful thing now is that whole little spiel about being able to play up to whatever level with expansions. You can probably literally play for free everything that I ever experienced with that game, because I think the free trial has now caught up to where I stopped playing in real time.
I should probably play it. Like, I've been meaning to play it for years, but also like committing to an MMO is really hard.
You need a group.
It is also like the most single player friendly MMO I have ever played in my life.
But what's the point of that? Like, honestly, I would love to play an MMO.
It depends on the type of person that you are. One of the reasons I've never got into MMOs very well is because of the social aspects.
Yeah, it's like the single player content of an MMO is really valuable because it lets you do it on your own time when you're not playing with your group.
Yeah.
It's sure.
It gives
but
you,
that's like saying like Minecraft is the best multiplayer game. You can play it single player forever. I would love to have a server where I could like log on and maybe a friend or two would be on there at all times. You know, that'd be nice. Maybe
we should all get into Final Fantasy together. That would be might be fun.
We'd almost have to, I mean, actually, with how level syncing is work, I could probably use my old character, but I don't know if I'd want to. Anyway, so I spent far too long in Final Fantasy XIV for it not to be on my list because I loved that game dearly. It's just I ended up having to drop it because to maintain an MMO like that on a regular basis, it is like daily hours. It's like a job. Kind of becomes a job. Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially if you're upkeeping all of the jobs within the game, which I absolutely was at the time.
That's part of why I got so much respect for Josh. You know, like he plays dozens of different MMOs a year, and like I think still keeps up with his faves too. So it's
makes sense.
But you know, it's a lot of work just to play one and like playing.
Yeah, well, like the dailies that you had to do in 14 were about an hour and a half, at least when I was playing it. And that was me playing the good classes. Because if you sign up for duties in Final Fantasy XIV, I don't know if it's changed in the last like 5 or 6 years since I played it. But back when I played it, if you wanted to get through duties quick, you play as tank or healer, because that means you insta-queue and you get in right away. Because everybody wants to be the flashy DPS and do all the damage. Nobody wants to tank. Nobody wants to heal. So if you, like me, love to tank and heal, except for doing it for the first time where everybody expects you to already know everything about everything, then it's great for you. Yeah, and then after Final Fantasy XIV, this is the time where I'm actually picking a game from a trilogy, and I have picked Mass Effect 2, not Mass Effect 1, not Mass Effect 3, not the Mass Effect trilogy as a whole, just Mass Effect 2, because it is the perfect balance between the great storytelling and lore of Mass Effect 1 and all of the near perfect gameplay implementations of Mass Effect 3. It is the perfect...
All the shooty, bang, bang.
Yes, because like Mass Effect 1, best story, Mass Effect 3, best gameplay, Mass Effect 2, best combining of both into one solo package.
See, I would disagree on best gameplay as a Mass Effect freak myself. Someone who, I made a video essay many years ago that Mass Effect 2 is actually where the decline of Mass Effect started. And my specific argument for that is that they basically turned the Citadel and the Normandy into what felt more like sets than real spaces you could explore. And it just kind of, I mean, it's good for streamlining, right? It gets you into the action faster and the shooting is good. And, you know, I'm not arguing that it's not more fun minute to minute to play Mass Effect 2. And also, I guess, you know, the gameplay is probably objectively better because, like, it's better balanced. Your characters can, you know, there's fewer useless builds.
It has gotten better in like playing Mass Effect 1 in the Legendary Edition is actually reasonably better. It's not like playing the gameplay of 3 or anything, but they did improve some things. Yeah, the handling of the shooting is better and the balance is a little tweaked, I think. Mm-hmm. But like ME1 to me, just being able to explore the spaces, being able to like go find
out,
things.
Yeah.
There are plenty of things in Mass Effect 1 that like you can show somebody a cutscene from something on the Citadel. There's so much stuff on the Citadel. And they're like, wait, where was this? That's on the Citadel in ME1. You just
the little secrets. Yeah. Like how you can go down from like the Presidium down into the wards and like really explore the wards.
You don't need to go down there. The main quest doesn't send you down there. So unless you go down yourself for whatever reason, you'll never find it.
And that's where you get all like the KOTOR content, because, you know, Mass Effect is really like a continuation of the design of Knights of the Old Republic, right?
Yeah.
And you know, blending that with a third person shooter, and then 2 and 3 are more shooters that have a little bit of KOTOR DNA in them.
Yeah, the 2 was the start of leaning away from KOTOR and leaning more towards like Gears of War style of gameplay.
And more making it more cinematic and less, you know, choice driven a little bit. You know, you still get some good choices in 2, and there's some like really interesting moments, but it's like it's setting up these big hype set piece cutscenes more than it is setting up like the like interesting moral decisions and stuff like that. I just to me, you know, the ability to go down into the wards, the ability to take the Mako out and explore planets, even though the planets are really boring, right?
And empty,
and empty, but like that's what exploring space would be like. That's a big part of the fantasy for me, right?
Yeah, you just drive around what is essentially the lunar surface until eventually you meet a Threshermon day.
Yeah, and it's always a Threshermon. I wish there were more kinds of aliens, you know. I wish that there was more than the one base, the one modular base with different arrangements of boxes for all of the shooting encounters on those planets. Like, you know, you feel the content being recycled and there should be more variety. But at the same time, like just the ability to drive around and do nothing on a planet for a while, like that's the appeal of No Man's Sky. You know, that's like that's something that I feel was really lost. But I agree, you know, like I don't dislike ME2, to be clear, and I think it's a very valid pick. And you know, Miranda's everything is a great selling point.
So after that, the next entry on my list, we're not going to talk about too long because I know I already spent a decent amount of time in a previous side quest talking about it, which is Zero Escape Virtue's Last Reward for the PS2. You can also play it in the Nonary Games trilogy. It's a combination of visual novel and escape room puzzle game. Highly, highly recommend it. You should also technically play 999 beforehand because they lead into it another. You don't need to go and play Zero Time Dilemma afterwards unless you're a crazy masochistic stupid person.
I would actually say like it's required to play 999 before to get everything.
Yes, like you can get through about about 85% of this game does not require 999.
But if you play it first, then a lot of the most cool and
really good stuff
moments of 999 are undercut, I think.
Like the references to 999, especially when they are finally revealed, you're like, oh yeah, that kind of requires playing 999. So like, go on Steam, buy the Nonary games, play 999, then play Virtue's Last Reward, and that'll be super great.
It's also like 999 has one of my favorite twists in any game I've ever played, ever.
Yeah.
And that is spoiled if you play Virtue's Last Reward first.
Yeah. So don't do that.
Yeah.
So don't do that. After that on my list, it'll probably get knocked off by its sequel once I actually have time to sit down and play it, and that is Hades. Because Hades is just so freaking good. I've played a little bit of Hades 2 when it first dropped into early access. I dumped like about 25 hours into Hades 2, and then I was like, this is good. I've kind of reached a bit of a wall. I've already kicked Kronos' ass a couple of times. That's fine. I'm going to put it down, and I'm going to wait for 1.0 to come out, and then I will return, and I have yet to find the time to return since 1.0 has come out.
The biggest criticisms I've heard of Hades 2, though, is it makes it harder to go back and play Hades 1 because of all the like.
It's just so optimized and such much a better game. Yeah. Then what it should do then is just pull a Left 4 Dead 2 and drop the Hades bundle where you can then replay Zag's escape in Hades 2 in the Hades 2 engine.
I think that would be an improvement because like my wife played it and I watched her play a bit of it, and I agree with her that like the story in 1 is much, much better. And the characters are just more interesting. Like it's a lot of the same characters, but the Hades one, like everything about the story and the characters is more fun. And so like how much you value the gameplay versus the character interaction part of it, like
kind of how I've gotten it so far, again, not having played much of 2 beyond like what was available to me at the time. Hades 2 felt less like necessarily a love letter to like that level of mythology like Hades 1 was, and it felt much more like I was watching some weird fan fiction of Sandman in how it like referenced those characters and like those mythologies. It felt much more Sandman coded than Hades 1 did, which is not necessarily a bad thing depending on your thoughts on Sandman and everything related to it. But that was kind of my take at the time.
Say whatever else you will about associated monsters, but like the writing and story ideas in Sandman are great.
They are.
You can't. Yeah. Like Hades is a game I've been meaning to get into for a really long time. I played like 5 to 10 hours of it, something like that, on like pretty casually on my Switch at some point. But like,
it is a great game for portable consoles, honestly, both the Switch and my Steam Deck. Perfect.
So you said there's a way to play the story of Hades in the Hades 2 engine?
No, I'm suggesting that would be amazing if they did.
That would be great. Because like the thing is, like, I enjoyed it, but I'm also like, I play a lot of roguelikes, right? And like my general impression of Hades is it's like a lot of people's first roguelike, and they got, or like
it's also a very good one.
It's really polished.
No, I don't disagree that it's really polished. I just like sort of crunchier, meaner roguelikes a little bit, and like I'm used to like Binding of Isaac and Spelunky and those like just kick your ass, I hate you games.
Well, so here's the thing. I'm with you 100%, Geoff, in that I love the RNG gods to be brutal to me. It's also why I love Blueprint so much, because that game is just like, you want to have a good run? F you. Wait 30 minutes and then reset. F you. You're not progressing tonight. You're going to go to bed without any progress in this motherfucking game.
Here's absolutely everything you want. Everything you asked for. Oh, I'm sorry. You have no steps left. Too bad.
Whereas Hades felt like it was a super fucking satisfying amount of RNG where every run felt meaningful in some way, shape, or form, and the gameplay of it is so much fun that you wouldn't have even cared if that wasn't the case.
Yeah, it is fair. The reason why I loved Hades is because even a failed run felt fun. Like too often I find, especially like with the heavy grindy ones, that it's like I can do like 4 or 5 runs and not feel like it's like I didn't progress or I didn't learn anything or I didn't really do anything because the game just hit you so hard. And some people are fine with that, but with my limited amount of game time and play time, it's not normally something I can get into.
I get that. I think they can get too punishing. Like I feel like FTL, for example, as much as I love FTL, it like,
I only beat that game once.
There's so many runs where it's just you get screwed and there's nothing you can do and none of the choices that you would have made would really have made a difference.
Yep, from the moment you hit new game, everything had been decided for you, and even if you play perfectly, you could still fail.
Yeah, and like, I mean, I'm working on a video about the crappy Idea Factory anime, Mars of Destruction, Skelter Heaven, and I don't know if you know this about Idea Factory, or as they are affectionately known in Japanese kusoge circles, Idea Faku. Their very first game that they ever made was this thing called Spectral Tower, which is a prequel to Spectral Force. I don't know if you ever watched the Spectral Force OVAs.
No, but I've heard not good things.
They're funny bad, or the first one's funny bad. The second one, for some reason, is about Pokemon.
Love Pokemon.
The backstory of the hero who killed the Demon King and started the big war in the first Spectral Force story is that he was a Pokemon trainer who got too old to play Pokemon, and then he went to a village to get rid of his last Pokemon, and that's where he met the adventuring party that he'd eventually kill the Demon King with, and then like 20 years later, they're like, hey, remember when that happened? Anyway, let's go do genocide against the demons. Wild stuff. So, roguelikes can...
What's next, Tristan?
Yeah, what's next? Sorry.
Next is one of, but not my actual favorite puzzle game of all time, which is a one-man creation, Return of the Obra Dinn.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Yeah, so the general premise of Return of the Obra Dinn is you are an insurance agent, which sounds hilariously boring, but you work for the East India Trading Company, and nearby at port, the lost ship, the Obra Dinn, has just resurfaced after a freak storm, but nobody is there anymore. It is an empty vessel, and you are tasked to board the vessel and find out what happened to the crew. Is anybody alive? How they all died, and then, pay out to their families accordingly, because that's what you do when everybody has been like, hey, we're going to join your crew, and if you die, yes, your family will get a payment, but we need to figure out how you died and whether or not you are eligible for payment, because if you decided to go an abandoned ship and we find out about it, hell no, we're not paying you for that. So you are on the ship and you need to find out how everybody died. And you do that because you're given this wonderful fantasy MacGuffin of a stopwatch that, when used on a dead body, allows you to listen to about the last anywhere between 15 to 30 seconds before the person died, and then visually see the exact moment of their death in a tableau kind of black and white painting that you can walk around and see details with. And you have to do that for every body you find, which leads to other bodies, which leads to other parts of the ship, which leads to why the hell did this place get attacked, to, oh, wow, Cthulhu, to a bunch of other things, to, and then you have to determine everybody who was on the ship, which you were given a crew manifest, and you were given an image of everybody on the ship, but you need to put a face to a name and then figure out how they died. And every time that you successfully figure out the correct answer to 3 people, the game kind of black screens and lets you know, hey, congratulations, we can confirm that these 3 are correct. Keep going. And you just keep doing that until you literally find out how everybody in the ship died, which is extremely difficult, because you don't find out how everybody in the ship died. You find out how everybody but one person died, and then you leave the ship. And if you did everything perfectly, then the game will hand you how to find the last name, and you can figure it out in a special bonus cutscene at the end. And it's a wonderful, wonderful game.
Yeah, no, the detective work is so clever in that game, and I love that it lets you put in wrong answers, right?
Yeah, you can just put in. You can do it. And that's why it's every 3 that it confirms, because it's not going to let you do it on every one. So you just randomly find it. You need to get the correct answer for 3 crew members. And it basically stops the guesswork in the early game. Yeah, near the end, when you only have like 2 or 3 people left,
you can brute force the end of it. But
hopefully by that point, like
you figured it out, and you
figured most of it out. I will say there is still one stupid freaking thing in this game that took me way too long to figure out, and I hated it. And I hated it so much that I'm not going to tell anyone anything. You get to sort that shit out on yourself.
You know, now that I'm thinking about it, the arrangement of information is not dissimilar to the sigil puzzles at the very end of Blueprints. Or not the very end, but, you know, in the Blueprints end game, where like you get the incomplete information and you're like trying to piece together, okay, is this country more based around the sciences or the arts? Do they travel via car, rail, or turtleback, et cetera, et cetera?
And you're trying to sort. Yeah, it's very, very similar to that, because it's like you have all of these people, but they come from various European and African cultures. And that, depending on your knowledge of that, could be very useful. One of the harder names in the game is very easy if you know some things about South African culture. If you don't, though, good luck. The game can. There is enough clues and hints in the game for everyone. You don't have to guess. You just have to kind of figure out how to parse the information it's telling you. And that involves looking at a lot of things. The nice thing about the game is that it will at some point tell you that if there's a name of a person you're missing, it'll tell you, hey, go look at this memory. And that can be very helpful, because it's like, all right, well, it's in here somewhere. It at least narrows your view to that point. And then it's just a matter of figuring things out from there. The most guesswork, I think, comes down to the people that aren't on the ship anymore, that actually escaped, and figuring out when they left and where they might have gone to. That's kind of like the most kind of.
Did you have pen and paper out for this game?
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, okay. It's you deep notes. You got to take a lot of notes.
Yeah, like not Blueprints level deep notes, but yeah, you did have pen and paper. That's kind of what started me on that, and then Virtue's Last Reward. I continued with that, and then after that, the other great puzzle game that I absolutely love, which is technically 2 games, and I will fight anybody that says it is 1 game, which is Outer Wilds. And it's DLC. Its DLC is a completely separate game. I don't care what anybody else tells you. It is a sequel that is marketed as a DLC. And I thank the creators of the game that only sold it at a DLC price and not full price, despite the fact that it absolutely deserved to be sold at full price. And it is that perfect of an addition to the game.
That is pretty based of them.
It is. And it's very hard, because if you talk to anyone who was around me when I first started playing Outer Wilds, if you go talk to the Re-Res crew, they will corroborate the fact that I hated this game. I absolutely hated this game with a burning passion for probably the first 5 to 10 hours. And then my friend Shane is like, why are you still playing? And I'm like, I don't know. Because there is a bit of a learning curve in Outer Wilds. Because in Outer Wilds, you're traversing around this geometrical solar system on your rinky-dink little spaceship, crashing a lot, and trying to find the mysteries of the universe and why everybody's dead. It's very similar to Return of the Obra Dinn, except it's all done in a weird time loop mechanic that is absolutely amazing, and I love it.
Perfect time loop mechanic.
Absolutely perfect time loop mechanic. It is brilliant, and the reason why I hate it is because the learning curve around the controls is a lot. Like figuring out how not only you with your jetpack move in different ways of gravity, but also your ship and how you can maneuver your ship while everything else is moving, because you're trying to land on things. There are a couple of really great shorts that you can find on YouTube of people manually landing on the sun station, which is an extremely difficult feat to do. I have the achievement for it. It was not fun, but I did it. And the level of detail in all of the small things that I really love, of how it turns lore finding into something you actually want to do. This was like the first time I saw a game where like the lore, we've talked about it before in one of our previous side quests, where we talked about like how Fallout 3 or Fallout in general, the new Fallouts, have their lore in the little terminals that we don't read and we don't care about. In Outer Wilds, you find very similar things to like that, but every single piece of like every little like log entry that you find has information for you. You just need to figure out how useful is it, and how that pieces together to the greater story of what happened to this ancient civilization that you are translating data from.
My favorite part is like brute forcing something, or just like being like really stubborn about like figuring out a puzzle early. And then you immediately find the journal if you had just gone in a little more obvious path, or like a little more
slightly different direction. Yeah.
And you're like, mother.
That was the disappointing thing for me about the Sun Station. I found everything out that I needed to know from the Sun Station before I ever landed on the thing. And I spent far too long figuring out how to land on the Sun Station, only to get all the information and be like, oh.
My first time on the Sun Station was landing on the Sun Station.
So this is another one that I still have to like really sink my teeth into, because it's like,
and then the DLC.
Yeah, as soon as I started playing it, I was like, I will be obsessed with this for a week.
Don't play the game with the DLC installed.
Oh, don't?
Because here's the thing. Here's the thing. The DLC is great, and it is difficult to run into the DLC content if you're not trying to get there, especially after the first like 5 minutes of any loop. But you can, and it gets really confusing if you stumble into it.
Okay, so it's not like Cyberpunk 2077 where Phantom Liberty just fits perfectly into it and makes the game feel complete. It's kind of the opposite.
It's basically, it is the perfect thing to get into once you've basically solved all of the other major mysteries of the main game.
Okay,
so it's like, basically solve the main game. And then once you're like, play the main game up until the point that you realize, I can finish this in a loop, stop, install the DLC.
Okay.
Go play the DLC, which is a completely separate game with separate mysteries and all of that. But then do all that before you do your final loop of main game Outer Wilds. Because also completing the DLC changes the final mission of the main game, which you would have to redo anyway. So you might as well go do the DLC before that. But you can complete the whole game beforehand.
But it just adds too many clues and makes it a little too confusing otherwise.
Because it's basically a separate game. So like if you're following like 5 or 6 different clues in the main game, you stumble into the DLC and everything you've known before does not apply here. And anything you learn, at least not for a very long time till you near the end of the DLC, doesn't really apply back to the main game. It's like it's its own like little separate playroom that you end up stumbling into. And like they're great, they're amazing. But also
I now that I'm like mostly done with blueprints, maybe I should, although I also feel like, to me, it feels like maybe it's not as much of a note-taking game, because like as you're taking notes, like if you try to take notes, the planet's going to explode, right? So,
you can pause the game. And I'm pretty sure if you pause the game, the timer stops. Like things will still move, but it won't actually progress. I'm pretty sure pauses things like that. But like, there's no point in really any note taking out on our wilds, because any of the important things your ship is keeping track. Anyway, there's no real in-universe explanation for why the ship remembers everything through loops, but it does, and it's fine. And if you get lost, the ship will point you in the right direction. It'll basically be like, there's more information to be found here. You can ignore that completely if you want to like not have that little crutch, but sometimes it's quite useful.
You bringing that up makes me like, there's a couple Jordan Mechner games that you'd probably appreciate because you like that idea of the time loop. I mean, the original
everyone likes a good time loop.
A good time loop.
Well, I mean,
very specifically,
it's not like a actual story time loop, but the game is built around playing it multiple times and stuff progressing in real time. There's the original Prince of Persia, which is just like, you have to learn to execute on a bunch of cinematic platformer stuff very quickly in order to get through the whole game in 60 minutes or 120 minutes if you're playing on Super Nintendo, which is way harder because there's 10 more levels. And then there's The Last Express, which is a fascinating geopolitical murder mystery set at the like turning point of World War I, where you're
on a train.
You're riding the Orient Express.
Why have we not talked about this before?
Or not the
a time loop murder mystery on a train, and I have not played this game.
It's not a time loop murder mystery. It is a murder mystery in real time. So every time you start the game, all of the passengers on the ship are going about their own activities and talking to each other. And you can go around, you can listen to different conversations, but you got to be quick because the guy who you're pretending to be is dead in your cabin, and you have to hide that body in a way that the conductors aren't going to find it, while also like it's Miles. I think it you would like it a lot.
I would like it. I mean, I bought Return of the Obra Dinn like 10 years ago, and I still haven't played it, and I just need to. It's a short game too, right?
Reasonably well. It's as long as however it takes you.
Yeah, it's how long
it can be short, but it could also take you a while. I think my first playthrough of Obra Dinn, I played it when I was like sick with a fever and couldn't really move off a couch, and I beat it in about a day and a half.
Okay.
But yeah, The Last Express is more like it's a Myst-ish type, screen by screen exploration because it's that era. But with rotoscoped character animations for all of the different passengers, and like the passengers will have conversations in different languages, and your character only understands some of them. So only those languages have subtitles. So
cool. I will have to check that out. But that leads into my number 2 game, which is Cyberpunk Bartender Action Valhalla. This is my shrink-wrapped Switch copy because my original copy was on Steam, but Limited Run decided, hey, we're going to do a physical copy of the game, and I'm like, I will buy that. I will buy that 10 times. I didn't actually buy it 10 times, but it is bar none my favorite visual novel of all time, and everybody should play it, especially you should be playing it now because it takes place over the course of December, and I will be playing my yearly playthrough of the damn game, going day by day over the course of most of December. Because basically all it is you play this wonderful bartender named Jill, and she lives in a cyberpunk dystopian society, and a lot of weird shit happens, and a lot of cool people come by the bar, and you make them drinks, you save lives somehow, you buy things for your cat, and you play a video game very, very poorly or very, very well if you want the achievement. And it is amazingly great, and I am desperately waiting for the developers of this game to finish everything else that they're working on, because they're working on both a sequel to this game, and they have been for far too long, but then they also have development notes on a kind of Silent Hill 3D polygonal PS2 era style shooter game, which looks amazing and I hope plays just as well. So that's very brief because I don't want to get too much into Valhalla. Instead, just telling you go play the damn thing because I love it and it is amazing and I play it every year and I will continue to play it every year until I'm dead. And then after that, my number 1 is a bit of a downer because it's Majora's Mask, which means it's exactly the same as Miles's number 1. And we've kind of already gone over the greatnesses that is Majora's Mask, and we also kind of said, hey, I have a type. I love time loops.
Yeah.
And why not play one of the best, if not the best time loop in video games, which is Majora's Mask. And I've spent far too long playing Majora's Mask. I've done things in Majora's Mask that you're probably not supposed to do, but I was a bored 12, 13-year-old whenever this game came out. I can't remember how old I was when this came out. 2000? I was a bored kid. I would put on the Goron mask and I would just do laps around Clocktown. I just did that. You don't need to do that. I mean, unless you really want to max out your rupee count and go over to the bank guy and hand him all your money, then do the Song of Time and basically steal his money because you haven't given it to him yet. But it's fine. You can do that.
It's fine. He's a banker.
He's a banker. It's
morally justified to rob him.
Yeah, it's fine. And I mean, we've talked about probably all of my favorite parts of Majora's Mask before. Pretty much. Yeah, because like we talked about the Keffa Mask, we talked about Fierce Deity, we talked about basically everything in the final dungeon is just great and amazing. As far as like the perspective swap between putting everything upside down and right side up. I think that was a better sequel to what Zelda was doing with the Water Temple in OOT versus the Water Temple of Majora's Mask, which it got better. Playing through that particular dungeon in the DS version, which I have here somewhere, I'm not going to pull it down, is a lot better. But like, I mean, just the DS version of Majora's Mask, the Majora's Mask 3D is just a wonderful quality of life. Thanks to one of my favorite games of all time.
I there are some parts that are detrimental to the experience though. In the remake, it's not a perfect remake, but it's a solid alternate way to play the game, and some of the little things about like just keeping track of all the different things you're trying to do make it.
Well, honestly, as a mobile version,
way too many copies of the game, because like I also own this copy of the game, which is I don't know how easy this is to get a hold of now.
I got one of those too.
We've talked about it before.
Yeah,
I don't know if we talked about it on one of our Sunday calls, but I fucking hate you both for having it.
I actually no. Here's the thing. I got that
for audio listeners. We're talking about the GameCube release of the Legend of Zelda Collector's Edition,
the promotional.
The promotional disc, which includes Zelda 1, 2, plus a GameCube copy of OOT and Majora's Mask.
Yeah, the promotional disc that came with GameCubes. Which
they came with GameCubes, and also if you had enough Nintendo Power codes,
right,
you could go to the Nintendo Power website and get it. Which is how I got mine, because my brother-in-law went to the local local equivalent to Blockbuster, pulled out all of the boxes for the Nintendo games, got all of the codes on them, and then handed them to me and said, "Hey, go sign up for Nintendo Power. Here's all the codes. Get your copy of Majora's Mask. Go."
Yeah,
I already owned it on N64. My N64 copy, I think, is visible there in the corner. But he was just like, "You're gonna want it on GameCube. I mean, of course you're gonna want it on GameCube."
It's actually a really good port.
It is. It's a reasonably good port. I like it a lot better than the Wii Store port of the game. I think it was better than that one. The main reason he did it is because I'm also the person that has the Wind Waker version that comes with Master Quest, because I'm just that insane.
Here's the thing. I'm stupid. I got the promotional disc and I was like, well, I don't need Master Quest anymore. So I traded that in at EB Games, and I hate myself for that. I mean, the thing is I
wouldn't sell that, mostly because I'd also have to sell my copy of Wind Waker, and like I don't care of the fact that
so I had the pre-order.
I also have Wind Waker again because
the better version.
No, but I had the pre-order. I had the pre-order bonus for so it was a separate disc, so I could trade it in. I was like, hey, I get some free money, like I think it was like $15 to buy another game. That thing's worth like $300.
Mm-hmm.
Never ever trade in your video games. Never do it.
Except for the one person that went to one of the local places nearby here and gave in their copy of Xenosaga Part 3 that I then yoinked up. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Some people want to live out of a suitcase anyway, Geoff. Not everyone wants to have a monster collection of stuff.
But
we're not the right people to talk to about that.
The thing is, I don't like Ocarina of Time enough to ever play the Master Quest version, which was also part of it,
I mean, I don't know if I'll ever replay the Master Quest version, but I'm happy that I own it, and I'm happy that I beat it. Okay, it was a very nice game.
I mean, it just like, I don't know.
The thing is like some of the dungeon puzzles are just stupid.
Yeah,
they're not. They're
what
stupid.
Are you talking about?
They're stupid in the. It very much feels like a Mario Maker level for a Zelda dungeon, in that some of them just feel like some of the switches and some of the things you have to do are just kind of placed somewhere. They don't integrate them as well as you would expect from a Zelda dungeon.
I like the idea of Kaizo Mario Zelda, right?
Yeah.
I like the idea of it, but like, a hack like that, I'd prefer to play in Majora's Mask, right? Like, I feel like you could do so much more interesting stuff with a Master Quest cut of Majora's Mask.
Which I'm surprised they didn't do, honestly.
It just didn't sell as well, I guess. But like that would, to me, that seems like a much more appealing prospect of being able to like go through the loop and like see all the little differences that make it different from Majora's Mask, and go through Majora's Mask the first time again. Like that would be like.
Cool. I mean, I also think that the game could have done a lot more of the like mask swapping that you kind of get in the fourth dungeon there. Like there's some really cool things that were explored just a little. Like I do consider Majora's Mask the best game of all time, but there are times where I think of it a little in the Pikmin 3 realm of this also could feel like the great preamble to when the game really gets going.
Yeah,
like if there was a whole nother 4 dungeons to Majora's Mask, Oh my god,
that would have been amazing.
Yeah. If they had time to like polish it up and like develop
and not
it
throw the whole thing
to an
together in a year,
ocarina of time. It's just like you feel. I
kind of wish they would do that though. Like, there's nothing stopping Nintendo from being like, "Hey, we're going to release a Zelda game with the graphics of an N64 game." Yeah, no,
they could,
and it's going to be like it's going to be like
they make a lot of money.
I'd play one of those every year, and you don't have to make any new assets. You don't have to worry about the tech. It could just be on the literal Ocarina of Time engine. Don't like. Please give me a new one every year. Jesus, I would. Yes, please. There's one thing we didn't talk about with Majora's Mask though that I really wanted to cover from last time, which is the sound design of the game is perfect. Like all the little sounds you make as a Deku, like going into a flower coming out of it. They are so evocative, and all the different human noises of like, that was more of a Minecraft.
That was a Minecraft villager, yeah.
But actually, it's not that different from like the guys you race on or in the game.
But and also just like for iconic sound effects, the dawn of each day. That just. Ooh, like there's a reason that many
Gen Z
YouTubers
is stealing it for TikTok,
and TikToks, but also YouTubers like use it all the time to like demarcate sections of videos.
It's very good for that. It's very good for a hard cut to this.
Honestly, like shout out to Schaeferillis, the YouTuber who uses Majora's Mask sound effects a lot, and also agrees with Tristan and I. And therefore has very good taste that Majora's Mask is the greatest game of all time.
I mean, Geoff would say it's no Steambot Chronicles, but yeah.
I would say it's no Steambot Chronicles, and all of y'all,
I'll get to it.
Yeah, you should.
I gotta play Death Stranding still.
Miles, it's the only PS2 RPG where you can manipulate the stock market.
I too like World of Warcraft.
Hooking up my PS2 to a TV is like, I just spent a bunch of time hooking up like the N64 to a TV for the kids. And like, I mean, I guess that makes it easier for me to do the PS2. But anyway, I'll do it soon.
Yeah,
I've got the game literally out right now. And I just need to find another memory card.
PCs are getting to the point where you can emulate it pretty well now. If you've got,
I spent like $90 on that game because of you, Geoff. I'm gonna play the fucking game.
Play the original. I would say play the original, but like, if you've got an 8 or 16 core CPU, that is now at a level where it can properly emulate that game. Because the thing about it is it was made in the Disaster Report engine, and then they just kind of stapled cell shading to that, and it's a real bodge job. But that's part of the charm.
And all that says, that's my top 10. There it is.
Great list. I need to play a couple from there.
You do. You need to play all of them, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You were like, oh, we have so much overlap. And then we went through the list and like, no, actually, it's just Majora's Mask.
I thought we had a lot more overlap than we did, honestly. Maybe we had more overlap in like, I'm even looking at our original versions and no, we didn't have a lot of overlap there too. It's just more of a like, I agree with everything on your list. I just like these more. This is fantastic. I like this better.
Miles, which ones do you have to play?
About half of them. I haven't played. Well, so I've been meaning to play Xenosaga forever. I haven't played Oberdin, of course. I haven't played 999.
If Victoria hasn't got on your case enough to play Xenosaga now, I don't know what will.
Well, she did enough for me to buy it, and then I haven't played it.
Okay.
But yeah,
she Steambot Chronicles with me.
Yeah, we can all play Final Fantasy 14 together. Great. Mm-hmm. Then you need to play 999 and Virtue's Last Reward.
Yep.
You've already played Hades, that's fine.
Which
pick out like 2 days and play Oberdin. You're good?
Valhalla, I have to play too. Oh, man.
Play Valhalla over the course of December, the perfect month to do it.
Okay.
It is a wonderful, wonderful thing. Just take little bits of time, put it on like your Switch or your Steam Deck or what have you, and like play a day of the game on the day that it happens in Cyber World. That's what I do every year.
I want to, but right now I'm stuck in the greatest remake maybe ever made. The Trails in the Sky first chapter remake. I wouldn't normally say just play the remake. I would never say that for Persona 3, for example. But like, it's real good. That's how you
really feel, Geoff.
He has.
Anyway, we should move on to our main quest. I would argue the greatest anime rom-com of all time. Kaguya-sama, Love is War. I'm looking way at the wrong place. One more time. Sorry. My fourth favorite game. My fourth favorite game of all time. Game. Yeah.
I'm keeping all really, this.
Yeah. Okay. We're keeping all. Cue Tristan. My fourth favorite anime of all time. The greatest anime rom-com of all time. Kaguya-sama, Love is War. Which, if you're not familiar with the concept, is about the two elites of the elites at an elite private academy. The president and vice president of the student council. They are, respectively, the number one and number two performers on all of the exams, the intellectual giants of the school, and the leaders of the school community. Shirogane is a scholarship student who got in there with his big brain and hard work, like insanely hard work.
Because he has no money.
Like literally no money. He studies to be the top of the top at the biggest, like the most expensive and most elite private academy in all of Japan, and also works a bunch of part-time jobs to support himself and his family, because his, like they're at a point where his dad has to be a scam psychic in order to just put a little bit of food on the table. Kaguya, meanwhile, is the heiress to the Shinomiya Zaibatsu, one of the biggest and most powerful mega corporations in all of Japan.
It's a pharmaceutical company, isn't it?
No, it's a lot of companies. It's a Zaibatsu, which means which is a corporate structure that doesn't actually technically exist in Japan anymore. They call them keiretsu.
I would call them, they're more like medieval fiefdoms.
Yeah. They have more power. Yeah, you're right. A cartel is not selling how powerful a Zaibatsu really was. They were essentially as powerful as the government within specific business fields. And a lot of the big companies in Japan today are Zaibatsu that were just broken up a little bit, right? Like
Squishy.
Mitsubishi, for example.
Please sponsor us, Mitsubishi.
God.
Or did you know that Sony happens to own one of the largest banks in the world?
Don't sponsor Sony.
In addition to all of the other companies they own. Because what it's really about is these two geniuses trying to trick each other into confessing the feelings that they obviously have, because both of them are so great. And how could the other person not be totally in love with them? But it would be beneath them to confess their feelings first. And it's definitely not because they're just scared of being rejected. Definitely not.
Definitely
not just ordinary high school feelings. They are the elites of the elite, and the other one has to supplicate themselves before them, or the relationship just won't work. So every day they come to the student council room, and between their work, often instead of doing their work, they just kind of sit around trying to come up with Death Note level mind games. I would actually say above Death Note level mind games. This is a smarter
Death Note has Kaguya level mind games.
Sometimes.
This is really Death Note inspired. Like, you feel
very
clearly see the inspiration on the sleeve here. I don't think it exceeds Death Note, but it certainly keeps up with it the whole time.
It exceeds the latter half of Death Note easily.
I would say,
okay, sure.
I would say in terms of psychology, it exceeds Death Note handily, having written character breakdowns for both and done a lot of analysis on both series. So they play these mind games with each other, and they are frequently interrupted by the other members of the student council. Chika Fujiwara, who is the embodiment of chaos, she craves attention. And she's not as smart as either of them, but she thinks she's smarter than both of them and just deserves to be recognized as the greatest person in the room at all times. But also subconsciously, like, Kaguya is she's got a lot of different motivators that like change her behavior, and she's just kind of the wild card in any situation. Then there's Ishigami, the treasurer, who's this nerdy shut-in who's like, you know, trying to develop himself and be more romantically appealing. And he's got a crush on a upperclassman. And then there's Miko Ino, who joins partway through in the second year. She's on the disciplinary committee, so she's like very upright with the rules. Miko is obviously a reference to her status as a sort of priestess within the council, which means she's repressing a whole lot of stuff, and like she kind of is like, I can't believe all the debauchery that these people are getting up to. This is ridiculous, and then she gets sucked into it every time.
Debauchery. There's debauchery here.
And there's also just a massive supporting cast of other characters who come in and out of their lives. And it just keeps expanding. It's a wonderful, extensive community of characters who all play into the comedy in very well calculated and brilliant ways. And I just think it's one of the greatest romantic comedies, the greatest romantic comedy
I can agree.
of all time.
I can agree with one of.
But I would say
I mean, I would put several above this. I would put Fruits Basket 2019 above this. I mean, really, it comes down to
comedy.
That's kind of the thing. It really comes down to you're calling it a rom-com. So it's a matter of all of these things have like levels of rom-com. And most of the things that I would compare it to also have an aspect of drama in it that Kaguya-sama just doesn't really have, because any drama that it has is only an engine for the comedy.
No, that's not true at all. Especially like in the movie, I would say,
the movie. That's 4 episodes, but in this grand, massive amount of episodes.
But the thing is, like, Kaguya actually has very, very compelling character-driven drama.
I'm not saying she doesn't, but that's not the main focus of the show.
No, it's not. But it subordinates it to the comedy. But like, it still has like some of the most like doki moments I've ever felt in anything.
This is just a matter of you haven't watched enough stuff, because it goes 36.
I've watched Fruits Basket. I've watched Fruits Basket.
All of it?
I like fruit. Yeah. I like Fruits Basket a lot. Like I'd put it way up there, but like Kaguya it's got a brilliant balance of comedy and drama where it can be
36 episodes of comedy and then drama at the end for a little bit.
The drama is integrated the whole time. It's delivering.
Is that why no characters have any development for the first 30 episodes?
That's not true at all.
Yes,
that's absolutely not true.
It 100% is, which is the biggest issue with the show. Is the show is almost static for the first 30 episodes. All the changes are incremental, which is actually fine, by the way, because if you look at this like something like a Cheers, right, or a Friends, honestly, I was thinking about like American sitcoms, like How I Met Your Mother, a lot while watching the show, because the first 3 seasons, especially the first 2 seasons, 2.5 seasons, before the festival starts in season 3, is just a, hey, what shenanigans are we getting up to this week? I can't wait. This is going to be fun.
No. But that's the thing. It presents itself on that level. But the thing is, it uses that gag manga format, kind of rejiggered into 3-part episodes that have a little bit more story continuity. But the kind of brilliance about how Kaguya-sama is written is that there is ongoing character and plot development that just happens off screen that like is implied in each individual gag moment,
which is why you can skip season 2 and not miss anything.
You can't skip season 2 and not miss anything.
Oh yes, you can.
I mean, the only you would miss Miko Ino's intro. That's kind of the thing.
You miss Miko's intro, but also And look, a lot of Ishigami's development happens in season 2.
So Ishigami does get a tiny bit of development, but again, it's very marginal. And it's also a little contradictory. If we go back to the first episode, the premise laid out in the first 4 or 5 episodes, which are, by the way, really fucking good.
Yeah.
The premise laid out is that they know that the other one likes them, or they're convinced that the other one likes them, but they're too up their own, ass about it. And also, there is some doubt. It's not like they're super
because they don't know for sure,
but they do know. They do know
they can't
that they
risk
like each
being
other.
wrong.
And you're right that all the best character development happens off screen. If the show started back at the beginning of the term together, I would have liked it a lot more, because all the hints and flashbacks to when they hated each other were like, ooh, that's the good stuff. Right?
But I mean, you get that, you still get that good stuff.
No, you don't.
Yes, you do.
No, you get allusions to it. You have to fill in all the fucking gaps. You don't get any of the good stuff.
You get a ton of...
No, not until the fucking festival starts do you get the good stuff. Then it's every episode's oh my God. Biting my fucking fist good. Yeah, no, it's really good when it's a good show, but then the rest of it is Cheers. And I love Woody Harrelson, but I'm not going to rewatch Cheers in 2025, Jeffrey Thew.
That is, okay, that is one, ridiculous, because it's way better than Cheers. It is on a whole other level. But secondly,
Cheers made Seinfeld.
It's not just the stuff that happened off screen beforehand. There are very gradual developments of what the characters are capable of, how they feel. And
and when you say gradual, you mean a slope of 0.1 degrees?
No,
right?
No, I've made a whole hour-and-a-half long video essay about the psychology of the characters. It's incredibly intricate, the relationships between them and the way that they develop over time.
I didn't say that's not the case. I just said it's extremely fucking gradual.
Yeah, it is a slow burn development, like a lot of this stuff, which is necessary to keep it in that comedic dynamic of doing all of these fun games and trying to manipulate each other.
Well, I wouldn't say that it's necessary. That's kind of the thing. It's not necessary.
And so this is why, again, if you just watch more anime, you'll find other rom-coms that do the same thing, where there's development every other episode or every episode.
I watch a lot of rom-coms. This is my favorite one. And it's
I know, and I struggle to see that, because this one's extremely good, but and it's on Tristan's list, so I think I need to give him a little bit more shouting time.
It's a lot further down than Geoff, though. Geoff has it at number 4. Where's it on mine? Mine, I have it at 74.
Okay.
And there's a lot higher romances above that.
So I kept thinking, oh man, this reminds me of Lovely Complex. What if Lovely Complex wasn't as good? And then my wife is this reminds me of Lovely Complex. I'm like, yeah.
Okay, well, Lovely Complex is one that I still need to see. That's fair.
You do.
But I have seen Fruits Basket and a lot of other ones.
So going back to my point that we ended up diving off of, comparing it to other things, I have other things on the list, or at least my personal list, that I would put above this. But it all comes down to, I can at least agree that Kaguya has that wonderful blend of both rom and com without too much of the drama. And yes, the drama does come in at other points, but the selling point of Kaguya-sama Love of His War is mostly the comedy, but how that pertains to the romance part of it. And so to compare it to any other potentially rom-coms, it's that balance is different in every different show. And it's do you like the balance more towards the comedy? Do you like the balance more towards the romance? On top of Fruits Basket, I'd also put Toradora above this, but it's I'd
put Toradora probably second to it for all of my favorite romances. I actually know Fruits Basket and then Toradora, but and
that's just a matter of taste. I put Toradora above Fruits Basket, but not by much. They're within the very same ballpark.
Toradora's tighter, Fruits Basket's a little bit deeper.
Toradora made me cry. Fruits Basket made my heart go doki doki a lot more.
I will say that this one does have that depth to it. So even when it's being a silly episode, you can tell that there's that underlying really compelling I guess you called it psychology, and I think that's right, because it does have layers in ways that a lot of other similar titles don't get to. But it's really satisfying.
So like what's really satisfying to me is that like the psychology drives both the romantic drama and creates this like, you know, you can feel the characters pining and thinking about all of the stuff that they're going to do the next day in the negative space between the funny gags that we're watching, right? But the psychology is absolutely consistent in all of the jokes. And like even Fujiwara, who seems like a wild card, you can break down the different personas that inform the different modes of behavior that she has and her different priorities. Like she wants approval from Kaguya-sama, but she also wants, you know, she just wants her ego stroked generally. And if there is an opportunity to put herself up over Kaguya, she'll try to take that. She wants to stroke her ego in the sense of like her friends think that she's useful and like come to her for advice and stuff, which leads her into these absolutely horrible situations trying to help Shirogane with any given problem, which are some of the funniest gags in the entire series. But what makes it so good to me is it's really funny on that first watch. Like you get this absurdism, this anarchic energy. But the deeper in you get, the more you understand the characters. Once you get through the school festival, once you get past the school festival into the stuff and yet I read the entire manga and I've watched the entire anime twice, right? Like prior to the little bits of rewatching that we did for this podcast, you know, like going back through the earlier parts, you're like, with the little bits of understanding that you glean, you're like, oh, okay, I see how this informs this. And you like really come to a deeper understanding of all of the characters and what drives them. And it's not just the student council, it's all of the different one-off characters that you see around the school all have.
You're giving so much credit to characters that are like a mediocre Gintama villain. Like you literally listed out every character that has more than one characteristic when you were describing the cast, which it's not a very big cast. I don't know why you think it. So like when you call this a drama, I'm like, only at the very end. When you talk about the drama, the characters, yeah, the main core characters are good, but there's only like 8 characters who have more than 5 fucking lines in the whole show.
Only if you're watching, I guess, okay, this is separating into the manga, but there's a spin-off manga that's basically a Rosencrantz and Guildenstern are dead addendum to the entire story, where Kaguya and Shirogane's biggest fangirls watch all of the events of the story from the sidelines and interact with other characters, and they have their own drama going on. And but like
the thing is,
you know, I am also, to be fair, I'm basing this off of having gone deeper in the manga, where, for example, there's this character called Osaragi who's like at sort of the periphery, kind of like watching these different relationships. And she's got it's Miko's friend. She's Miko's friend with the glasses. So she's got some kind of agenda going on. And you find out what that is. If they make another season, you'll find out what that is. And it's like
getting her boyfriend in jail.
It's just really good. I don't want to spoil it, right? There's so many just like great reveals and great like, oh, I see what's going on here.
When the taxi driver, and then that's season 1, the taxi driver, when I realized he was one of the 4 ramen kings, I fucking screamed.
Right? There's all those little connections that, like, even in the movie, when you're like, oh my God, this doctor who's like really weirdly attuned to romantic issues and just like gives kind of man-whore advice is their man-whore friend's grandpa.
Yes,
like
that was such a great reveal, especially because I'm like, oh, I don't want to see that guy anymore. Their relationship is so boring at this point. Like, please never show them on the screen again. And then they come back just for that moment to be like the illusion. I'm like, perfect.
But I mean, also like the fact that he's just called Kashiwagi's boyfriend, and like Kashiwagi is the only character. Kashiwagi and Maki, the pigtailed Kaguya's cousin. why am I blanking? Anyway,
a lot of names.
Their relationship and their fighting over him is really more important than him. But also, he's, you know, there's all of these like.
But they didn't like earn that like ending at the end of the fireworks or at the bonfire scene where like they're like, I love you more. And it's like, no, you don't. And also she tried to steal your man. And also like you never resolved that. And like, did I like sleep through an episode? Like what's going on here?
It got resolved off screen. And also they're kind of fake bitches. And also, you know, there's layers. There's layers to even the minor relationships between characters. And again, that spin-off manga is so funny. And like additionally revealing about a lot of stuff. And that's kind of what I mean. It's like what appeals to me about Kaguya is it's got the accessibility of like, you know, a wave pool. It's really fun. You can just like get in there and like, you know, you can just let it wash over you and have a good time. But it's also got the depth of an ocean if you want to really go into what makes the characters tick. And especially like Kaguya and Shirogane are both geniuses in completely different ways. Like Kaguya has like a very, very solid education and like this rigid upbringing that gives her a lot of discipline and an eidetic memory, but she's not actually that good at analytical thinking. And that like stops her up. And that's where a lot of her plans fall apart is she hasn't like planned it through. Whereas
she has high intelligence, low wisdom.
Yeah. Whereas Shirogane, like he has to work really hard, right? He doesn't have a lot of those natural advantages, but his analytical mind is on that like Light Yagami L level where he's like planning 50 steps. Like she's able to plan 50 steps ahead because she's got, you know, the help of Hayasaka and like she, you know, she can execute these plans, but he's got this ability to like improvise on the fly that she doesn't. And he's able to like overthink situations. But I mean, the overthinking also causes him a lot of problems romantically and leads to a lot of comedy. And there's just, again, there's layers, and the way that they act as gag manga agents and the way that they act as romantic comedy vehicles for like vehicles for romantic drama are deeply interconnected. And like the comedy works because these characters are able to manipulate each other because they understand parts of each other and don't understand other parts. Like, you know, there's that great moment in the movie where they kind of rehash the like, oh, I want the president to give me food, right? And like you can see the advancement in their understanding of each other with how Kaguya just brutally and efficiently dismantles both Miko and Fujiwara by like attacking Fujiwara's you know, complex about her weight and diet and her caloric intake, and then like you know, just more subtly undercutting like Miko trying to help and you know, getting her on that anxiety too. And then Ishigami, another great psychological true to character moment. He's just like, oh, it's getting dangerous in here. I have to leave, because he's the most attentive character out of all of them to what's actually going on. He's like, okay, Kaguya wants me out of here. I'm going to go. You don't have to break me to leave. I get it.
That was such a good gag. When it stopped happening, I'm like, oh, that's character development that I'm sad to see, but I loved, because I love that gag so much of like, I'm going to go home and kill myself now.
Because he's, like, no, like there's you pointed out the gags that happen and don't happen. Like they'll run a gag until it runs its course, both in terms of comedy and in terms of the characters have grown past this. It usually follows like a rule of threes, except in the case of, you know, Miyuki trying to learn something and Fujiwara helping, where she will never learn, just like he will never learn. Right? I mean, he will eventually because he works hard enough, but oh my God, she is not prepared for that.
When Chika was trying to explain to her sister why Miyuki was like, don't touch this guy. And she's like, well, he sucks at volleyball until he got good. And then he sucks at this until he like worked really hard and got through it. Oh, he's so embarrassing about this. Oh, and then he worked hard at that. And it's like, God. And that was like a really good, again, once we get to the festival at the end, the last 6 episodes of the 3rd season or whatever, and the movie, we're in like payoff stage. Did we need any of season 2? Did we need most of season 1 after like the first 6 episodes?
Yes.
My thing for that largely comes down to what ended up being my watching habit. So like I watched all of season 1 when it came out. I thought it was an absolute blast. That's the reason why it was on my list in the first place, especially Chica's ED, which needs its own shout out because it is just so perfectly and amazing. And I watched all of season 2 and I enjoyed season 2. I made a video on it, but then season 3 comes along and I did find out when I was doing my rewatch, because I thought I didn't watch any of season 3 at all prior to this podcast. I thought I had to catch up with season 3 in the movie. Turns out I actually did watch at least a few episodes of season 3. And then I was just like, I'm okay. I'll come back to it.
Right?
I'll come back to it.
Yeah, you got enough of this. You got enough of these jokes. But then season 3 gives you the payoff, right? When you're like feeling like, okay, I get it. But
I mean, it's because of season 2 and the start of season 3 that got me feeling I'm okay. I got what I wanted out of Kaguya, and I will move on. That's what I felt like at the time.
What you thought you wanted until you finally get that payoff in the festival, and the even deeper payoff that recontextualizes it in the movie.
I mean, I finished the movie and I still feel like there's probably going to be more after it. And I was just okay. So like, I thought that was the end. I guess not.
No, the thing is, Ishigami unironically becomes best girl moving forward in this, you know, he becomes the ball in an amazing love triangle that like you think it's going to be a harem situation for him. And then it takes a completely different turn. Every member of the student council gets their own very satisfying romantic arc, except for Chika, who is fundamentally unlovable. But what? Chika.
we could Chika, get into that.
There is nobody who can ever love Chika more than Chika, and that is, you know, like I love Chika, right? But think about dating
she loves
her.
herself more.
Think about.
I think that's the wrong read on the character. I think she's just got bigger goals, and
I mean that too. She does have like ambitions to become the prime minister one day, and
not just the prime minister thing, but just like romance is like on a different wavelength than she's ever existed.
Yeah, but also she loves it, and I like.
Well, no, she loves it intellectually.
Yeah, no, she loves it for other people, but she's not like. But yeah, there's you know. I'm making a joke.
Our aromantic queen, man. Like that's all.
I'm making a joke there. She's great.
My point though, when it comes to like the end of season 3 and the movie and the fact that like we were talking about how this whole section of the story is like the payoff. And I went into it thinking, watch the movie and then it's done. But it's not done. And it's still going. And I'm like, I already hit the point where I'm like, I'm okay, I'm good. Then I got to the payoff bit when we were watching it for the podcast, and I agree, great, perfect, peak. But then I got to the end of the movie, and I'm like, I was expecting this to be it, and it's not.
I think like
do I have to keep going? How much longer is this going to go?
So here's the thing, right? I think that the movie does tie it off in a very, very, very satisfying way with the them finally bringing down their full masks and saying, I love you for who you really are to each other. Like, that's a
but
really,
if there's an
really
episode
important...
after this where it's back to the status quo, I would not be surprised. That's kind of the thing.
No, that's why it's one of my favorite manga I've ever read. Because after that point, you're living in this relationship with them and you start to see the tensions coming in from, you know, like they've alluded to how horrible the Shinomiya family is, but you really start getting into that, and you get into the Princess Kaguya illusions of the story a lot more. That like they foreshadow all the way back in season 1 with the ED where they're coming out of the airship, right? And they keep going back to that timeline in later EDs where they've got the Starship Troopers parody where they're going to like rescue Kaguya on this planet. That's all alluding to the moment where the spell breaks and she's pulled back to the heavens, which in this case is like this obscenely wealthy realm that even all of these really rich kids at the school don't fully understand, because like Zaibatsu are essentially the gods of this version of Japan and old Japan prior to the economic reforms.
Post-economic miracle.
So like you have to deal with like, okay, so these two characters love each other, but can they actually be together? And how long can we enjoy this happiness? And it does still have that, like, will they, won't they, with Ishigami and Tsubame and Miko that is being set up in the movie, which really, really, really works. And, you know, you've got Hayasaka going through her own arc. And you really get to live in the relationships, and it develops in a very satisfying way past here. I really hope they make more anime, but even if they don't, I feel like the movie's a decent cutting off point for like, okay.
No, they are making something, and it looked like, from what I've read, they are skipping ahead to the end.
Okay, that'll be frustrating, but also it's understandable.
We've gone through 3 seasons in a movie now, and to reference another rom-com that I do enjoy, I wouldn't put it higher than this, but I still enjoy it. I can't see the ending. And after this amount of time, and especially like maybe that's a problem with my own expectations going into the movie, thinking that the movie was going to wrap everything up and it didn't. It's one of those, I don't see the ending. So when I say that, like, it wouldn't surprise me if the next episode I watch just goes right back to the status quo, that's because I feel like it keeps doing that a lot. And then I have seen too many shows, both in anime and not, that just go on for far too long. I'm trying to watch Spy Family again now, and it's like, I just went through this whole arc on a boat, and you could remove the whole thing. And it's like, I don't need to, like, does it need to be there? Like, it was fun. It was enjoyable, but also, I mean, that's kind of where I'm at.
I can see where you're coming from of like, you could cut down the
season 2 entirely.
No, you can't because Miko is such an interesting character. She shapes up the dynamic.
I will at least agree with Geoff that like the Miko-centric episodes you are kind of must-watching just for her character. You're fine with just not knowing who she is at all.
No, if I started season 3 and they're like, oh, she's our new freshman.
But her introductory arc with the student council election is really satisfying storytelling.
Oh. It's not. So let me tell you something. It is my least favorite part of the entirety of this show. And I say that as the election arc is my favorite arc of literally every other piece of media I've ever watched.
Is that because you also yeah.
But
you also
together we'll go
Davis.
Miles. but student government, motherfuckers, get out of here.
That's a good slogan. But
it won.
Yeah. Hey, but the thing is, right? Like I can understand it from that perspective, but like I think it develops her character in a really satisfying way, and like it's a good clash of characters. I understand if you're like, oh, the politics aren't that good. I kind of
the character development in seasons 1 and 2 is not. I'm not going to say it's shallow. It's shallow outside of literally the main 2 characters, and I will not accept otherwise. Like, I'm not going to pretend that these characters aren't like well realized, right? Like everyone on the student council is a well realized, interesting, compelling character that I like. Everyone outside of the student council is a secondary character that does not need that extra level of development. And I would not. And one of the reasons I had an issue with your explanation of the show is they are secondary characters and they're treated as such, and they do not get much depth, which is fine. They're treated appropriately, but I would not say the show has a big cast. It's got 5 fucking people in it. And all my favorite characters are all the adults, which is maybe
you're gonna like the later seasons then, because that's more.
They're not gonna make it. They're not gonna fucking animate it, dude. They're gonna just skip to the end.
No, as a small spoiler, one of my favorite bits is that the Shiroganes finally start getting some financial stability when the dad finds his true calling as a YouTuber.
Okay, so he is honestly pretty much my favorite character when he is like, oh, I'll be your daddy, Kaguya. Like, I'll be your surrogate daddy. It was like,
yeah, he's great.
So good. And then again, all the Ramen Kings, the ramen episode the narrator is mostly good, but it also is just like
not in the dub.
like not in the the dub is okay, but
he's
the dub
different
also
in the dub.
In the dub, he's basically just a really bad imitation of the AI in Dungeon Crawler Carl.
Yeah, no, that's which is still a fun dynamic.
Fine. But like
take shot.
No, but it's true. Like it is very much the same. Like
antagonizing the characters as he like sarcastically commenting on what they're doing.
And I went back and forth between the dub and the sub this whole show based off of because I watched I think the last 2 seasons in the last week, and I watched the first half of season or the first step. My background for the show, by the way, I think I talked about it on the show before, but I watched episode 1 with my wife, and we both laughed our asses off and thought it was great and said, we're good. We've already seen this. This is just this for the children, and we're very happy it exists because it seems like a very good rendition of it. And that was we're good. And honestly, we weren't wrong. I'm really glad I watched all of it because I really did enjoy it. It was extremely good.
It is good.
Especially the last 6 episodes of season 3 in the movie, which is when it actually gets to like the combination becomes a rom-com instead of just a com that uses rom as an
engine for its story.
Narrative device. Yeah.
Well,
it is I would not say the first 2 seasons of the show are rom-com. I would say they are what Death Note ended up being, which is a comedy. Like they are just Death Note with romance as the like
romance instead of swim Matsuda swim.
To be honest, that was fine. Like
I mean, William Dafoe would make Kaguya that much better.
I'm not even mad about season 2 being completely useless for all the characters' development.
Okay, we got like that's I can see where you're coming from, but I also think to me the character development and the comedy are so intertwined. And what I love about season 2 is how the introduction of Miko, the same way the introduction of Ishigami in season 1 kind of shook up the status quo once we already had it going, and it changes how the comedy works. It changes the dynamics in really fun ways, and it refreshes how funny it is. And Kaguya-sama is one of the funniest anime I've ever seen in my entire life. It's so good. It's got great character-driven comedy, and also the visual adaptation of the gags adds a lot of like just energy and layers to it. That
like Death Note. Yeah.
Yeah, it's what I mean, but intentionally. And it's using what makes Death Note funny to make a rom-com funny. And the romance matters. You are kind of right that it's the romantic drama in those early seasons is subordinate to the comedy, but it thematically helps you understand these characters and why they like each other, even if it's not pushing, even if they're actively pushing against any kind of like development because they're scared. But that is also the drama. And the deeper you get in, you go back and you're like, oh, I appreciate this on a new level. There's layers to this I didn't see my first time through.
I mean, the problem with that is that you're kind of assuming that I'm going to watch this a second time through.
But you don't have to, but you can. I have.
I mean, yeah, you can.
And I love it more with each run through, which is something I can't say for most comedies. When you go through and you've seen the jokes the first time, you're like, okay. And then you go through the second time and you don't laugh as hard because it doesn't surprise you anymore. Okay. And
have you watched Nodame, Geoff?
No, he hasn't. We've confirmed this before.
Yeah, no.
So Nodame Cantabile is basically like, what if the last 6 episodes of season 3 were the whole show?
Okay.
And it's also 2 seasons, I'm pretty sure.
3 seasons.
3 seasons. No movie, though.
Well,
unless you count the live action ones, but...
Well, don't, because then like the illusion is broken and like she's too much of a fail girl to imagine outside of 3 or 2D, which is fine. Like she's wonderful, but just keep her 2D. Really, seriously, keep her 2D. Like Nodame is so funny, so heartwarming.
I want to rewatch Nodame.
And here it does something. Nodame does something that Kaguya f***ed up and never did once. It does the thing that every rom-com should do, and most rom-coms do. At the fucking most emotional moments, piano cover of the OP. How do we not have that for Kaguya?
I mean, Kaguya...
They have 2 banger OPs at least, depending on who you talk to.
Where's the piano cover of the OP? What kind of fucking anime are you making me watch, Geoff?
That's fair. That is fair. That is musically, they could have done that. Although, also, they've got so many iconic banger OPs, and they
use none of them.
They actually use the ED's motif, I think, a little bit.
Not the good one.
More emotion, because the ED comes in at the end of episodes, and
yeah, but not as good as like literally the average show from the 2000s.
No, I mean, I would disagree with that, but like...
No, because... No. Think of... Princess Jellyfish, right? Love is coming back. When that fucking hits, you're like, oh my God, what an episode.
Olé!
Right? And so, Princess Jellyfish is a funnier show. And it has, I think, better drama. Consistently. Kaguya is great. I'm not going to say it's not. I think you're giving it just too much credit in a couple different ways, including acknowledging season 2's existence. And like, honestly, by the end of season 1,
a sticking point for you.
No, because like, especially watching it back to back, like, honestly,
I mean, maybe that's the difference that I'm not fully on board with you right there, because I didn't rewatch season 2 in lead up to this, and you did.
Season 1, I watched a lot slower. And by the second half of season 1 is a lot slower and less funny than the first half of season 1. So like I could go back and like, and also like episodes my wife watched me, like she watched like one of the last episodes of season 1 with me, and she didn't laugh once in the entire episode, and I didn't either. I'm like,
what happened?
It's not, I'm like, honey, it's not always like this. It's usually pretty good. And she's like, really? That was pretty whatever. And I'm like, no, it's good. I promise. Let's just watch another episode. And then neither of us laughed again. I'm like, let's just watch one more. Okay. You know, it's for the pod. Come on, let's watch one more. And then we laughed and it was a little better. But like, because it was the final episode of season 1, right? Like,
I mean, yeah, the fireworks, but that is when they're giving you the emotional payoff more than focusing on the comedy. But
it was also way funnier too, though.
But it, like, also, if you're coming into that without having seen the entire series, like a lot of the comedy in that like payoff episode is paying off running gags from throughout the series and like, you know, calling back and doing stuff like that, right? Where while it's like, okay, we're giving this first like taste of the dramatic side of what we're doing.
But if I wasn't even laughing either, it's kind of like, it's like what's it called? What's that show that had like 3 seasons and the third season was just on Netflix last summer? Kimi no Todake. Kimi no Todake is funny, is charming, and is dramatic, and has like, honestly, like, I don't like the main couple even a fraction as much as like the main couple here, right? But like, I was similarly invested because it puts more weight on that couple's relationship. Whereas in Kaguya, it treats the main couple's relationship as a setup for a Death Note scenario.
It's the football.
Which is fine, which is great. And also, this is why, like, again, season 2 existing is not a problem, because a lot of the fun of this is like that cheers, like, hey, sit down, have a beer, watch an episode of Kaguya. Like, I don't think there's any harm that season 2 exists, right? But when we're talking about the greatest anime of all time, like, you give me the first 6 episodes of season 1, and then the last 6 episodes of season 3, maybe the fireworks episode from season 1 as well, and then the movie, and now we're talking about a contender.
Now we're talking about goats.
But, I mean, we're still not at, like, lovely complex levels for me. We're just talking about an extremely well done anime that I have no major complaints with. And here we have, you know, there were some episodes where the only thing that kept me going was the Ramen Kings.
Okay, well, the Ramen Kings is a great joke, but like,
it is.
The thing is, right? Like, I do think. Here's the thing, right? If we're talking about binge anime, right? I wouldn't binge Kaguya. It's a savor each episode. Yeah.
Which is what.
That's a weakness of this format, I think, that we have to binge stuff a lot of the time. But like to me, all of this stuff that, if you're going through a binge, you're like, I want more development and like we're just having fun and games, it's not a complaint to me because the fun and games are so fun. And there is trust me, there is depth there that comes out.
I know. I saw it and I felt it. But like, again, in season 2, if that didn't exist, you would not notice the difference in the characters.
I kind of get where you're coming from, but like, to me, like season 2 is a great development of the comedy, and that, every gag enriches your understanding of the characters to a certain degree.
Sure.
To me, like, I'm not going to complain about like a really good setup, an amazing payoff, and like a real everything past where the movie ends is just peak. It's really good. When I watched 3 seasons in a movie, I thought like we were talking about this for the pod because we were ready to talk about this. No, I'm ready to talk about it because it's very funny and like the movie made me cry and the payoff of the festival arc like hits hard.
Let me put it this way: if we were making this list 5 years ago and Tristan still remembered that Haruchika existed, he would have put Haruchika higher than on his list than this. Tristan,
I don't know about that.
Probably.
Did you watch Haruchika, right, Geoff?
I don't think so, actually. No.
Haruchika was a mystery rom-com, and it had charming characters that I really liked, and it had character development in every episode, and it had comedy in every episode, and it had romance in every episode. And I like when I'm like, and that was just kind of like a seasonal anime. That was just like probably made PA Works want to go bankrupt because there were 23 fucking lines in every character's eyes, which is just like really awful for production budget and like timing. And
why would you design it that way?
Why would you do that? But like, it's really good. Or Skip and Loafer from last year.
I mean, Skip and Loafer is great. I wouldn't put it on this level. But like,
why not? Wait, no, like actually, what's the difference between this and Skip and Loafer? Other than like marginal quality chain differences.
Skip and Loafer has like, I would say great development and like the romance is solid, but like, again, I think it's the depth of the characters and their relationships and how the comedy builds on the romance. Like you don't notice it, but your brain does, to quote Red Letter Media. There's this like ongoing building up of your relatability to these characters that like comes through in all those fun gag episodes that you're mainly watching because they're a really good time. And like, I understand if you're going through on like a binge, it's maybe not as funny as if you're, sitting down and enjoying it. Oh, this is the episode of Kaguya this week. I'm going to savor this. I'm going to savor this comedy. The other thing, which we haven't gotten into a lot, but that I think really elevates Kaguya as an anime specifically, is how good the adaptation is. Like the storyboarding is consistently phenomenal and elevates what is a very low budget, right? Like not very low, but a relatively low.
I wouldn't call this low budget.
No, if you go on Sakugaboru, you can look it up there. This was not like a super. They didn't have a lot of resources to make this, and the storyboarding, and like very clever animation choices make it feel so much more visually kinetic than it actually is, and like elevates the material to like another comedic level. When already it's one of my favorite manga, and I like I'm a gag manga supremacist, Dr. Slump is also one of my favorite manga, now that I've read it, right? And like, there are so many like little things in the adaptation where they're like saving frames saving without you even noticing it. Like a lot of the time when you watch limited animation, but you notice a little, but like when
Cloverworks does an anime, I notice just like, oh, that was very savvy. Oh, that was very smart. Oh, that looks great. Right. Like I notice it, but like, I get what you're saying. And actually Heidi and my wife and I kind of speculated that was one of the main reasons why people love this show, because it is just like a very extremely polished version of this genre that has been done many times before. And it's a very good story. And also Kaguya specifically is such an incredibly great character and a well-realized character. And I adore the shit out of Kaguya. Like everyone else is fine.
Go ahead. Sorry. There's a reason she's, the title character.
Yeah, and honestly, like I did not like season 2, going back to season 2. Season 2 is a lot more from Miyuki's perspective. And I really like season 3 coming back and having it much more in Kaguya's court, where we're more seeing Kaguya's side of things, because she's such a wonderful and compelling character in so many ways. And like, that's kind of, again, where this elevates it compared to these other things, right?
The Council of Kaguyas is such a great concept, and I think it
that I've seen done before in a million
No,
rom-coms.
It's been done before, but I don't
Not just in rom-coms and other things too.
Yeah, but
Spider Isekai's got that.
Yeah, I mean, Bacarina's got it. There's a lot of things that do it, but Kaguya...
Speaking of rom-coms, Yamada-kun and the Seven Witches, Yamada-kun and the level 999, like whatever, like Wave, listen to me. There's so many other rom-coms out there that are like just as good as this, other than maybe Execution, right? Like, and then other than Presentation, not Execution, Presentation. And the weakness of this is that it is really, truly, up until the very end, a comedy and not a rom-com. Truly, truly, truly. The relationship does not change meaningfully. It does incrementally move forward. I see that. But also, it's very easy to forget that the characters are coming from a base understanding of, I know that the other one likes me, and I'm going to make them confess first.
Well, I mean, that's like that base understanding is, I mean, that's one of the first things that kind of challenges that, like, they're both projecting confidence, and like they're in an environment where they can never let the mask slip, right? Because, if Miyuki ever once shows his weakness to his classmates, that's the end of his career as the student council president. But
that drama goes away so fast because he doesn't need to be student council president.
No, he does, for his future and for so many things. There's
no, he already did it. He already got the letter of recommendation. He does not need to do it a second time. It's very clear that he's only doing it to stay close to Kaguya.
But it's also that, and his relationship with the other students, right? Like, and there's an ego-driven thing.
No, but by that time, even he kind of acknowledges that that's not important for that purpose.
But I mean, they get into it in the movie that like he's still got this like psychological drive about his mom leaving.
He's got a chip on his shoulder. Sure, yeah, no, that's very clear from the first episode. But like, it's not actually real. But that's all in his head.
But yeah, he could. But that's also part of what I think makes it compelling, is that they've got complexes on top of the social pressures. Like, Kaguya is under a lot more social pressure, and I do think she's the more interesting character of the two. I'd agree with you there. But also, like, to me, it being more of a com than a rom isn't a bug. It's a feature, right? And what I like about it is I'm a very, very deep appreciator of great situational comedy writing. The like building an interesting cast of characters that you can do a lot of jokes with and like build off of them. I love 30 Rock. I love Arrested Development more. And to me, this feels like it's somewhere between Arrested Development and 30 Rock in terms of there's this thread of constant, the characters reflecting on and learning from what has happened in each gag, but the gags are also just consistently very funny, And
there's way more character dynamics and character development in both of those shows, though. Even in 30 Rock, that's the thing. Is like most of the characters, like the manga. In the show that I watched for this podcast, the characters are almost entirely static, and there is some development, but almost all of it comes during the final arc. Like, of the matter of fact, character development changes to the way that the characters think, interact, and treat each other. Most, like, more than 90% of it is in those last 6 episodes.
I would put it closer to like 75%, but like,
I know it's all informed by the rest. It's very good writing. I'm not saying it's not, but I would say that like Tracy Jordan evolves as a beast every season of 30 Rock in a way that I wish like the secondary characters of this show would. The non-couple characters of the show would.
That's fair, and they don't get as much screen. I mean, I would say Ishigami gets development.
A little. He doesn't get development for the first 2 seasons, really. It's, again, marginal. But again, even saying that 75% of the development happens in the last 6 episodes, if you're going to even give me that much, it kind of proves my point. I'm not mad about this being on the list, Geoff. It's your 4th favorite fucking anime. That's fine. Like, and again, I just think it's exchangeable, and like Lovely Complex is much better, and Ouran is much better. And like, Ouran is also much more comedy than rom-com. But
yeah.
Like, if I were 16, I would not write fan fiction about this show, and I did, for a fucking fact, write Ouran fan fiction. So
we're gonna need to find that.
You will never.
I guess that's the thing, because like if I were 16, I think I would be writing Kaguya fanfic. You know,
you said you wrote a feature-length YouTube video about it. Isn't that the same thing?
Kind of is, yeah. The combination of very, very funny comedic formulas and like coming up with like a really good, like, you can say it's been done before, but the specific blend of Death Note mind games and this romantic dynamic is unique to Kaguya. It's a unique selling point.
It's why I'm glad I watched it. I love it. I love Kaguya-sama. To be clear, just for all the fucking haters out there, I love Kaguya-sama.
No, it's you know, I get it. It's like me talking about the Chainsaw Man movie, where I'm like, I like it a lot, right? But if we're talking about the best movie of the year, I saw 100 meters. I can't, you know, there's like 100, not 100 meters, but like 40 meters between those two. And like I understand that. I just like, I
haven't watched enough anime. I know.
Shut up, man. No, like seriously.
No, I know. I'm giving you shit.
I've got a deep personal attachment to it because I've made some of my best content about it. And also I had this like journey of like getting into the manga, getting into the supplemental manga. There's also another spinoff that's it's the spinoff Dojin that is doing ecchi jokes in the Kaguya universe, which Kaguya
What's up with the fucking fan service in this show, by the way? Do we need to see Chika's boobs all the time? Like, the show is like so male gazy, especially when it's coming mostly from Kaguya's perspective.
I mean, that's
so
actually
weird. When Chainsaw Man can be as fucking lewd and ludacious as wants, because it's mostly coming from Denji's perspective, but it's almost never Miyuki's perspective. So why is it always like, hey, Chika's boobs, hey, someone else's boobs? Why is it always so like weirdly obsessed with the lewds?
Well, 2 things. One, Miyuki only really, it sells, and that's an adaptation thing. And Miyuki only really has eyes for Kaguya, whereas Kaguya, as we see in the Christmas episode when she becomes Kaguya-chan, hates Chika's stupid big boobs and how they make her feel. On a, she's thinking about that. There's that
but even from her perspective, they're not like, so many times like Chika's boobs are the first thing in the shot, and I'm like, why are we limiting the audience for this show?
That's
to,
also
like, dudes.
Yeah, no, that's one, I think, fair criticism of the adaptation, because that's not what the manga is like. And that's kind of why I was bringing up, they have this spin-off ecchi dojin, which isn't even that ecchi. It's just the level of ecchi that the show gets to, or like maybe a little bit further. But
send me a copy. Yeah.
That sounds horrible. Where is this?
Well, no, that's the thing. Like, I have no problem with it. I just don't think it makes sense in this show.
Well, yeah, no. And the thing is, in the original manga, it's, despite being a seinen, it is more sexless than a lot of shonen. Like that is.
Have you seen the main characters? Yeah, of course it is.
Yeah, no, but that's the thing. Like the manga is more in that style, and it's kind of a reverse Bocchi the Rock situation where I think that they added in a little bit of that for marketability, because it's like it is a male-oriented comedy more than it is, female-oriented. So like they probably, there's that thought of, add a little bit of this erotic noise to sell it a little bit more to the people who are going to make memes about Chica and, endless Pixiv drawings of Chica, et cetera, et cetera. There's like, I think that was probably a cynical marketing choice. I see where you're coming from there.
Tristan, your thoughts on this before we wrap it up? I know we need to wrap it up.
On which part?
on
the Chica's boobs? Yeah, no.
On that one.
No, like that's kind of the thing. Like, so like when it comes to like the romances that I like things like that don't really fit and don't really work. And I do agree that like, since we are from the perspective of Kaguya, the amount of male gaze is very weird. And I do say that as someone who enjoys like essentially lesbian gremlin MCs who love that kind of viewpoint and that kind of thing. But it's
Kaguya
like
is not a lesbian gremlin.
No, and that's why it kind of does feel a little like it's one of those, it's enough noise where I'm used to it. And so I'm like, okay. But yeah, I can also agree that it's just like, yeah, why? Like she is more than just that.
Because I get distracted. Like I get distracted and I'm like, it felt distracting. It felt distracting. How's
it's
that?
Supposed to be distracting, and that's kind of the problem.
Yeah, no, I'll give you that. It is kind of noise. To bring it back to the.
And then they can censor the kiss in the last episode. What the?
But I mean, that's like
that was funny. It worked out. The payoff of that censorship was really good. But
also,
I still wanted to see the kiss. What the? I waited 36 episodes for this kiss.
But I mean, the payoff is really like, one, there's a funny payoff to it. But then two, it being covered up, you're like, oh, okay, we've got this like the masks. They both got the masks. So there's a dramatic payoff to it too, that like subconsciously you're like, I wanted to see that. And then you get to the movie and you're like, this is why they didn't show that.
No, they showed it because historically, 45 seconds later, something else is supposed to happen.
I mean, if you go by, Kashiwagi's metrics, and like, to be fair, Kashiwagi's a little bit of a slut, and Kashiwagi's boyfriend is a massive slut. So that's...
I loved how like open they were about like, hey, it's Christmas Eve. That's two 17-year-olds are going to hit up the Love Hotel. See you guys.
Yeah, no,
and then you see them in the Love Hotel very briefly
in their robes. And I'm like, hell yeah, dude.
Yeah, no, like it. That's like the thing is, this is another thing I love about it is it's adult, and the manga is more this than the adaptation, which gets hornier, especially in the OVA, where it's like, this is the ecchi OVA. Let's get all ecchi with it.
It's just not that kind of show.
It's not that kind of show.
Well, no. So here's the thing, like. Geoff, like we didn't talk about the ranking, but like if you had said Golden Time was your number 4 anime of all time, I'd be willing to put it as high on the list as Kaguya-sama.
No, man, that's completely no.
Golden Time is not making this list.
Golden Time is nowhere. No, and that's not even a valid comparison. I'm sorry.
I'm just saying, like the Golden Time at least did something new for me. I'm not saying it's all good.
It's not good.
No, it is good.
No, it's okay.
But look, Kaguya is a much better. I enjoyed Kaguya more, and Kaguya is better, right? But it's just really hard for me to like appreciate why it's on Tristan's list at all.
It's mostly on my list for, again, like the start of season 1, like that.
The first 6 episodes are really good. The first 6
episodes hit very well. I still think the Chica ED is one of the best EDs I've ever watched, still to this day. I'm sad we never got a callback or anything like that ever again since that. What?
Well, I mean,
episode
there's
3?
the battle. There's the battle rap ED, which is goated.
And so, like, if you're wondering why it's on my list, it's mainly season 1. It is mainly that, because like that was enough to put it there. But that's also why it's like on my temp list, it's down at like 70, 75 or what have you. It's down there.
And the thing is, if it were only season 1, I wouldn't want this on the list. Like I'd fight you guys for this being on the list. Yeah. With season 3 in the movie, sure, it can be on the list. I don't care.
I mean, season 3 and the movie are really good, and like,
well, second half of season 3. First half of season 3 is just more season 2.
We've established that. Yeah.
But okay. we've also established that more of season 2 is something I would never complain about. And
oh no, I don't. And I'm not complaining about it. I just don't think it's list worthy. Is season 2 of Cheers list worthy? Like, come on, man.
I wouldn't necessarily say Cheers, but like, I would put this Arrested Development and 30 Rock level, and I'd say that those certainly qualify as all-time great TV shows. And like,
I think it's as funny as those. Well, it's as funny as 30 Rock or season 4 of Arrested Development, sure, but
so where
that's
on the list is going, because it could be in a lot of different places for a lot of different reasons.
But I think the placement comes down to, like, for all of us, like, what we prioritize, right? Like, Miles, you're a movie guy, right?
I also named 10 other rom-coms that I would put over this today.
Yeah, but those are also ones that have, like,
of which only half of are on my 100.
But those are ones that prioritize, like, the progression, right? And don't get caught up in the episodic fun and games. And
no. That's the thing. That's one of the reasons why, like, Lovely Complex kept coming up, because every episode is fun and games and also progression. And
it does sound like I've really got to watch that. Like,
yeah, you do.
For me, another high watermark would be School Rumble for romance and comedy that I've seen. Right?
I think I'd put this above School Rumble.
But yeah, I'd put this above School Rumble
definitely,
too.
Definitely above School Rumble. But like, Wave Listen to Me is another one where it's like, definitely the comedy and the romance are both better. I
didn't finish Wave. I should go through more of that. Like, there's a lot of these ones that I've like seen for a seasonal, a couple episodes, and I've got to go deeper in. But like, the thing is, Kaguya compelled me to keep going, and
that's fair.
But it didn't compel Tristan to keep going.
And I compelled through all of season 1 and season 2. It didn't compel me to end up going through season 3.
Which is, to me, feels like that the meme of the man in the diamond mine. A little bit.
A little bit.
Because like I also think, the romantic payoff, like, if I'm thinking about Oron, it does not have anything that pays off the romance as well as the end of season 3 in the movie.
If for 24 episodes, it pays off just as much.
Yeah, that's fair.
Season 2 in.
But what I'm trying to get at is, like, to me, I really appreciate the art of building a good repeatable formula. Like, if I'm talking about my favorite TV shows out of the American animation movement, I'll go to Venture Bros, which is top tier progression every episode, but also, like, the episodes are individually.
You're talking to 2 Star Trek fans. We understand.
But also, yeah. But like,
I will watch 500 episodes of Go-Go 13 if they make it. Right?
But I would also argue,
I don't need progression. I can just, like, say, hey, let's put on a Lupin. Let's put on a Go-Go. Just chill.
I get that. But I would argue Phineas and Ferb is one of the greatest things ever put on American television. And the reason for that is it just constructs such a great formula that it can run with in all the... How much Phineas and Ferb have you watched?
I will say that every time I've watched Phineas and Ferb, I probably said out loud, I'd rather be rewatching The West Wing by Aaron Sorkin.
That's the difference between us, though. That's what I'm trying to get at.
So literally, how's this? When my roommate at the time was watching Phineas and Ferb, he was also going through Jackie Chan Adventures. Which one do you think I sat down for?
Jackie Chan Adventures. You're a Jackie Chan Adventures man. Again, you are getting my point across here, which is
Star Trek is better episodic fiction. Yes, I agree.
I do got to watch Star Trek. That's, I'm not arguing with you on that, especially because like there is a part of me that wants to be up on December 1st to get that gift with purchase and the Enterprise ship, and I can't be a fake fan who only gets it because I like the Lego. Did
I tell you guys I watched Wrath of Khan with my mom and Bill Shatner recently?
Yes, you did.
Yes, you did.
Yeah.
You told us you did. I bet that was a lot of fun. But like, yeah, constructing a very tight formula is very impressive, and Kaguya does one of the best I've ever seen.
Before you talk about Kaguya's placement on the list, can we move Pokemon down now that we're the heat of that emotional moment and our very charismatic guest are out of here?
When you say move it down, at least explain how far down you're saying.
I'd like to move Pokemon below Golden Boy, which feels so weird to say.
I think I could agree with that.
Yeah, I kind of agree.
We were very caught up in the moment there.
But I mean, it also, like, I think rewatching Pokemon really hit for all of us.
It did, but also I'm now, more than a month out past that. And I'm, like,
why is it there again? Yeah.
Why is it there again? But also I do remember those really good feelings. So I actually still would like Pokemon to make it on the list.
But low on the list, I think.
You want it to be low on the list, but you want to also put it below what we have all kind of secretly agreed will probably not make it on the list, which is Golden Boy by the end of it.
I mean, that Golden Boy could.
We hope.
Actually, man, why didn't we say Golden Boy for the best educational anime? Golden Boy is the best educational anime.
I'm also in this spirit thinking about how much I love Space Adventure Cobra, the TV show, and I'm also willing to move Cobra, the movie, down below Pokemon if you guys are.
That's fair, sure, because we'll get to the TV show eventually. I think, yeah.
And then that can be moved down.
I think that's...
I'm totally fine with both of this, because it means Milky Subway goes up 2 spaces.
Yeah, Milky Subway deserves the bump. And also, I mean, Pokemon being down there, we gotta make room for Digimon to go way above it eventually.
Eventually, yes.
Digimon 2, of course.
Tamers.
I'm kidding.
Get out of here.
Are you guys watching Beat Break? It's so good. It's actually
Beat Break is not on this list.
Literally every Digimon is good, Geoff. Okay.
Not. Well, but what about Savers? Oh, wait, is Savers Cross Wars? I'm trying to.
No.
Okay, but place Kaguya. Okay. I
think we're in this neighborhood is the thing.
I mean, to me,
I would hope so.
I'm putting it between
below
ReZero and
Konosuba.
Chihaya Furu.
Yeah.
It's not breaking the Dungeon Meshi barrier. I'm sorry.
I know. I don't think. I think right below Dungeon Meshi is where I'd be comfortable putting it with. Actually,
I mean, I wouldn't put it above Dandadan on our list.
I would not put it above Dandadan or Konosuba.
I would put it above Konosuba.
I know, but you are also the highest person in Konosuba out of all of us.
Exactly.
It's like in your top 20 or whatever.
Exactly. And I'm the comedy and porn man. Okay. So, you got to appreciate my expertise in these fields.
So on my temp list. So on the temp list, I would not be putting Kaguya because I didn't above Panty and Stocking. But also, if we go back to the Panty and Stocking episode, I wanted that a lot higher than it currently is, and I hope with season 2 it might get there.
Below Panty and Stocking works for me.
I don't. Well,
that's the thing.
It doesn't work for me.
It might go higher. So that's kind of the thing. Is like then we're putting it above and below other things. I would be fine putting Kaguya below Konosuba.
I don't want to put it below Konosuba.
It's not going above Konosuba, to be clear, because I think Tristan and I are too negative on it.
I think
it's like we enjoy it. Like we're putting it above so much good stuff.
I would like to put it right between Konosuba and Dandadan if that's how you guys are feeling. You know, like you know how high I'd put it.
Well, if I'm to be honest, like I'm putting it below Pompo.
That's incorrect. That is flatly incorrect. But
I
you
just
also
don't have as much of a problem with it being higher on the list because it is pretty good.
Yeah.
You like Pompo too much.
No, I really don't. Season 2 is worse than the bank scene, dude.
Wrong. Incorrect. Flatly incorrect.
Here's my deal, Geoff. I would agree. I would agree to put Kaguya over Konosuba if up at the top end of the list, Chihaya goes above ReZero.
Woo! I'll back that. That's funny. I like that.
I mean, if you guys
or no, I've got a counter offer.
Okay.
Royal Space Force goes above Uma Musume.
No.
A deal. Deal.
That's 2 out of 3. All right. Royal Space Force moving up in the fucking world. We're doing it, guys. The wings of Omiones are flying high today.
I mean, you know, I'm not even like
Because that puts it above Slam Dunk as well. That's the thing.
The more I reflect on Royal Space Force, I said I needed time to digest it. And the more I digest it, the more I'm like, there are moments that just flash back to me from that movie that I'm like, wow, that was really great. So I won't even hate on that, man. You know, you want to do that? Do it.
Hey, Tristan.
Yeah.
2 out of 3. We can move Chiafuru above ReZero.
Don't you dare! You bastards!
Let's do it. We'll get Sungwon, then it'll be 3-on-1.
I really need to finish it. I'm still
You
on
both
season
really
2.
need to finish Chiafuru. What's wrong with you?
Okay, you know what?
I just had to watch 36 fucking episodes of Kaguya, 40 episodes of Kaguya in 2 weeks, man. It's fine.
Season 4 of ReZero is coming, which is like actually widely considered to be the best part of the entire novels.
I know.
So,
I'm really excited for that.
but also, like, man, I can't believe you haven't seen season 3 yet. You would put it back above Chiafuru if you
No, I
had.
have. I watched it for the podcast.
Oh, you watched season 3?
We were talking about season 3 of Chiafuru that he needs to watch.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
No, I watched season 3 of ReZero for the podcast, and then we didn't talk about it. I'm like, why did I watch all of season 3 in such a rush?
Right.
I could have enjoyed it a little bit more. But that's okay.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah. You know what? You're right. I haven't watched season 3 of Chi. Actually, that might end up putting it above ReZero for me. Who knows?
That's why I wanted it up. Because I finished it, and I'm like, no, that needs to go higher.
Royal Space Force,
okay.
Finally top 10. Finally top 10. We did it.
Because here's the thing. No, you want to know why I'm happy about having Chihaya there? Because now the top 3 has one of our 3 favorites in it. Finally.
Ooh. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Because if Songwon wasn't here, like I'm still happy to give credit for putting Chiafuru on the list of Songwon, but if Songwon wasn't here, I would have put it up there anyway. Because yeah, it needs to be there.
To me, I feel a little weird having Baccano higher than ReZero but you know, I understand.
No, but Baccano is the consensus favorite of the 3 of us.
Yeah. No, it's just impossible to argue with between the 3 of us where it ends up.
I will look forward to the day when we do put something above Baccano, but it's not this day.
I mean, like, for me, like, Pat Labor is one of the only things I put above Baccano on our entire list, and Royal Space Force.
And ReZero for me, but like, yeah, I mean...
But the thing is, we only have 1 or 2 things we'd put above it. And that's the thing. That's why it's on number 1 on our list. This is our longest episode. Damn.
We'll see.
Yeah. No, it's for sure our longest episode.
Bye.
Bye.